Hi. Addis, will you please recap what happened last week on Andromeda Adventures and Endara the Second Age?
Yes, I will. I may forget most of the details and add some embellishments, but I'm sure I will get the main premise. So, I believe we started off with the general discussion of plans. We were trying to recover the ring from the museum before Godric or his merry gnomes made off with it. We went to, I guess, case the joint, which ended up going really well, actually. We immediately split up upon chasing a gnome. I, being the immediate genius I am, managed to get inside having a conversation, but of course, did forget to tell anyone what my plan was. And so Hadrian proceeded to scale the building and go all Mission Impossible on it. Um, by which I mean that he kept climbing up things, sneaking around, and sort of falling over for about half an hour before he decided it was kind of pointless and he was going to get caught. Uh, we did manage to get some information. We realized the ring was still there, so they haven't stolen it yet. And there's also a sword. We're not quite sure how to get it out of there because it seems to sort of be attached to a statue or a sarcophagus specifically. But we all managed to get away. Although we're pretty sure they know who Hadrian is because he's been spotted multiple times by them. But after that, we went back and met up, discussed exactly how we were supposed to, I guess, take the next step in this plan. When we all had gone to sleep and had some really wacky dreams, where all of us died, or the wackiest of dreams. Great time. Magnar was doing great, just hanging around. Definitely wasn't impaled or anything. Or was Astora impaled? Somebody got impaled. There was a dragon. Barry was dead. It was traumatic for everyone involved. And we also saw this sort of strange lady made of porcelain and gears, clockwork, who I had seen before in a dream, but not in like a pervy way. And she was killed by Godric. We all woke up and it was kind of weird. We still sort of felt like we had experienced it. Like, was it really a dream or was it a dream within a dream? Is everything a dream? We proceeded to all have a mental breakdown and
I believe
sort of
that's
had
where we
left
left
off.
off.
Yes, with everyone sort of struggling to figure out where we were.
Yes, you guys were sitting in your lounge, kind of trying to figure out what was going on and what was going on with the dream, what you were going to do. You guys had a few plans for the day. Garth says, "Well, me and Barry are tired, so we're just going to go in. You guys can figure all this out."
No funny business.
Don't get killed by any books.
Kill you with a book.
Don't worry, Addis. He has no idea how to use one.
Recording in progress.
Or a weapon, so.
All right. So as you guys sit in the lounge, trying to decide what to do for today, that is where we're going to pick up.
Well, I think
Did we heal, by the way, Frosty?
You are recovered after the long rest.
Good.
I think
No, go ahead, Restora.
I was just wondering if I guess we have to decide how the dream might suggest what we should do. So I believe the dream implied that we had gotten the ring and we had it with us at the time, and things did not go well for us. Which I think either means getting the ring's a mistake, which I don't think I quite like that idea, or that if we do get the ring, there's got to be a better way of protecting it than keeping it ourselves. Yeah.
Right. I would also say what I really got from that dream was don't let a dragon step on you.
Well, I would think that's a bit self-evident.
I know.
As a
I'm
lesson.
sorry. I was trying to lighten the mood slightly. I failed horribly.
I guess the question is how many things in that were fate, like how much of that can we avoid versus like
Well,
what can
I
we
believe-
change,
If what
I believe-
Wastora has sorry.
No, you go right ahead.
I say if what Wastora has told us is true, then we happy few or unhappy few, we're in a unique position to actually be bound by fate. So whatever it is, a vision of the future is only as real as we do or don't make it, which is disturbing as all hell, and I don't know. Well, I'm not sure why I of all people would be picked out as a pawn by that particular player if this porcelain lady is indeed an agent of the goddess of fate, but
Well, from what I gather, they don't have that many pawns to choose from.
right. I think we're sort of must be a bottom of the barrel thing if they're going to. The rest of you I can see, but me it just.
Well, if I remember what we read about the fated correctly, is that they tend to be agents of the gods or focused by the gods because of their unique role or position. So that might be why we're singled out. I mean, how many other people are there in this world that are more or less free agents from fate?
Have any of you heard from your divine individuals of interest since that night when we found a different berry, Restora got her cupcake, Alice fought a rock, and I got the shit beaten out of me by air?
I have not heard from my patron, but I'm not even
haven't-
sure it was my patron who gave me.
I
the
haven't
cupcake.
caught any more rocks. And yeah, I don't think that's a divine. Maybe it was a divine rock. I don't know.
Addis, you
I-
recall that night.
I do.
Yeah,
I'm not telling. It's a.
Yeah.
It's a rock. It's a rock.
No, again, I'm only going on the information provided to me, and I will say, I actually. So after I wanted really badly to kill Jill in that carriage, right? I did go off and I talked to Mogus again. Well, by talk to, I mean he beat the shit out of me again. But I'm not. If there's a message he's giving me, other than find your passion and fight for it, but being very unclear about what that means, I don't. You would think the gods would be better chess players, is all I'm saying. If
They're
that's the
not.
metaphor we're going with.
Make a religion check.
Well, I mean, to be fair, last time I did it,
that
it was
is
them
six.
broke the board. So.
You want to use your inspiration?
No, I'm gonna let it pass.
As best you can think of, like, through your history of being a cleric for Dezka never got involved. There was never any, like, golden sign or great religious rejoicement or messages to priests or anything like that. So you have seen far more involvement from the gods now than you ever did. What that means is up to you to decide.
Magna, you had actually mentioned that night that you remembered a dream where you were forging a sword for the person in white armor and wings who beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, that's right. I
Right,
was making weapons in general, if I recall.
So are you like? Do you have an in with him or something? Could we give him a divine call on or?
Well, no, I have to say that experience was somewhat unique.
All right, okay, gotcha.
Fuck. If I was going to say anybody here who is sort of more, despite my years in the priesthood, anybody more divinely connected to me, it's Addis here, who has coins falling over and chess pieces moving around, and seems rather more connected than any of us, which I find quite fascinating, to be honest.
I don't know if we need, or if the gods might even have answers beyond what they've already tried to give us.
I mean, I think what we need is information, and one giant piece of information hole is the gnomes, of which there are several running around town.
Yeah.
We don't know who they are. We don't know who they work for. We don't know why they're after the ring.
So, hear me out on this one.
Yes.
I'm probably the person who is most conspicuously involved in our extremely successful casing of the museum last night.
You also bear a striking resemblance to a terrorist.
I do. So perhaps rather than go with you towards the law agencies, I could sort of just like walk around in shadier areas and see if I get approached by gnomes.
That is a good point. I mean, I know we might not want to like actually try and go. We'd mentioned trying to go and like report the gnome, but I'm not sure we have enough to go on there. Maybe we could find wanted posters and see if there are wanted posters of the gnomes.
We could certainly try.
Like, they've got to have like a mercenary sort of esque wanted, dead or alive, right? Ameris, they've probably got plenty of.
Well, I mean, it definitely is an avenue worth investigating, but we shouldn't be surprised if we don't find anything about the gnomes, such a thing, because we don't know anything about them.
Well, have we seen many gnomes?
No, but that's the thing. Like, there might be
occasionally
people who.
So, wait, Magna, are you just suggesting we grab every gnome we see and ask them if they're with a criminal organization?
No,
seems very problematic.
I'm not saying that at all. But I
like the vibe of where you're going. I just like we've got to.
I'm more thinking that they probably have, areas where they hang out, where there's a higher concentration of gnomes. So
okay, so
to be fair, Magnar, you are closer to them in height. Do you think you could could we dress you up as a gnome? Is that?
I don't think I'll quite
2.5 feet too tall.
I don't think I'll quite pass as a gnome. But finding sort of bars with a lower roof and perhaps more catering to those of shorter stature.
Yeah, so I think what Magnar is saying is a good idea. So we can investigate. Maybe Magnar, you and I should do this, because if Addis comes and we find a bar with that low roof, his usefulness will end there. But I could at least duck down really low, and you could probably still fit. So
as they're having this argument, Addis, will you make a wisdom save for me at disadvantage?
Oh boy, that's a sweet old 9.
As you're sitting there,
surprisingly well,
you feel like you hear something behind you. And you swear there's something in the corner of your eye just watching you. There's a familiar chill and eerie vibe up your spine. That strange, distorted dream where everything was so surreal and you just cannot bring yourself to look.
Addis is going to pick up a book, just any sort of book or large object, and go, Jill, you're a pervert, and just chuck it over his shoulder.
He hits Garth. The book flies up the stairs into Garth's room and just
roll it to hit roll.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
A ranged,
oh boy,
ranged attack.
So this would essentially just be like a general one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys hear Addis say that as he throws a book back, and you see it slam against a large spider, and the spider hits the ground dead.
Well,
Good shot.
that was mighty impressive.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, now I really want to go look for gnomes because I fucking hate spiders. So
The fuck? Wait,
Well,
You know that was there.
I thought it was Jill, like looking at me.
I
Weird.
wish it was
But then
Jill with that shot. Damn.
well,
I felt off.
I was thinking though, before we go running off to look for the gnomes, we may not have an answer for it now, but if we might want to be thinking about what we're going to do, or what we might want to do with the ring once we find it. If we can't keep it, then what are our alternatives?
Well, a big part here is if the gnomes are after it, and the gnomes aren't working for Godric, and there's every chance that they might not be, and then depending on who their patron is, well, maybe it's not terrible that they have it.
Right. Find out who
It's
they're
possible.
trying to get it from. And if it's someone who is powerful enough to keep it from Godric, but also doesn't have the incentive to lure Godric with it, like Jill, that could be good.
I mean, if you think about that dream we had as sort of like a warning, then what we did in it was fight the gnomes, take the ring off them, and then all hell broke loose. So if
So you're thinking like negotiate with the gnomes?
if we're trying to not do what we did in the dream, step one, don't fight with the gnomes.
We could even try to work with them if they're after
Well,
the ring.
right, that's like do the
Yeah.
opposite of
It's
Right.
no negotiate. Yeah.
Negotiate, right.
It is important to note that we don't know that for certain yet. I mean, it's a good idea. I think
Right,
you're
no.
right.
yeah,
but-
we don't know.
We need
Yeah,
more
we need to
information.
find out.
And again, here's the thing. Again, I can't place it, but I remember that blade, and like, if they're after the ring and not that, maybe we can come to some sort of an accord. Because it felt important when I saw it. I can't. Sorry.
Also, we should
my
probably
brain
like
scrambled. Like,
check this place for spiders.
I'm gonna look around for spiders. Oh, there's one. I say, pointing at the one that Addis just killed.
Ah,
You felt it was watching you. We're not talking about some sort of familiar or something here, are we?
maybe it wasn't normal, or I'm insane. But that's
How big is this spider, Frosty? You just said it hit a spider. It didn't. You didn't say
It's
how
a
big it was.
good, with all of its legs fully extended, maybe the size of a small kiwi.
I hate that you used the fruit. I hate that.
I hate you use a fruit that I never eat, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
About yay big.
Okay, because
About the size of an egg or something.
For a
Yeah.
decently sized.
okay,
yeah.
so that's not like the giant spider downstairs.
not the
that's,
giant
that's a spy. That is a spider, not a
Alright.
spider.
That's not a spider you would expect to see in an old house.
But as you guys are looking for it, it just starts to kind of evaporate and stain the carpet.
Okay, so that's definitely a
Not
familiar.
the
never
normal
mind.
spider stuff.
Sam, probably some sort of spy.
Too bad you killed it.
Alright.
You could have asked it who was working.
Do we know
I'm so.
what kind of magic might be used to create such a spy?
I mean, like I thought it was Jill, like scrying or something
Find
like
familiar,
that.
maybe.
Well, he's got a lot of other things to do it. I don't know. Would that match the find familiar ability,
I
or would it be some other?
Addis,
Well, the
you
fact that it
recall
evaporated afterwards.
when you had tried to commune with something, you had kind of reached out to something not long ago. There was an eeriness that shared the same kind of vibe. You had seen kind of strange creatures on the walls in that museum. And this had that same kind of coloration to it, the same feeling. And you still feel that presence behind you, watching you.
I'm gonna look behind Addis in this direction. I don't see anything, correct?
Nope.
Cool.
I'm gonna make a wild guess. I think this might be nothing. We should probably just go and deal with the gnomes.
Insight check.
Sure, make a deception.
8.
Well, I probably cannot roll lower than that, but I
You can
live
roll an
my
L1.
life to
Come
be
on.
disproved.
You can want it.
Yeah. No,
Nope.
you don't.
Az definitely seems to be on something, I think, is what you'd be able to tell. He's got inclinations, but is probably still unsure.
You can also tell that, like, I feel like with that as well. He's A, nervous, B, like, trying to actually, he's not sure that this is something we can handle.
Yeah. I got that. He's nervous enough that he's not sure it's something that he wants to tell Hadrian about, because Hadrian will probably try and stab it at this point in time. That makes
And the
sense.
gnomes was sort of a bigger priority for us.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna go. So I don't want to say I'm gonna go look for the Lollipop Guild. That again would seem like profiling, but we're gonna go and try and see if we can investigate the city for criminal
So
elements.
you and Magnar were going to look for a small tavern.
We're gonna look for the gnomish village of the city, if there is one. little gnome.
Just like
I don't know what it's called.
the miniature town. Okay. And then Wistor and I are going to look for wanted posters or something.
While do that, but also if you wouldn't mind, because I don't know if what I saw is accurate, but could you try and maybe, because you two I think are in good standing at the museum, right? You could go and try and check just in case there's something we don't know about it, but also see about the sword, like if there's anything we missed about it, because it's eating at my head. I don't know why, but it's there. So
That might be a spider, but yeah, I'll check.
okay, thank you.
Do it.
All right. We split the party.
All right.
What could go wrong?
So we're two very wise and cautious individuals. This can't go wrong at all.
So Magnar and Hadrian are going where?
I'm gonna again. So my presumption is that if there is one person in the party who the gnomes might have identified and be watching, it is me. So I'm gonna sort of try and investigate the city for places where, and again, I think I'm aided in this by the fact that of all the people here, I look the shadiest. Places where shady figures might hang out, and try and use that as a sort of necessary but not sufficient condition to find a gnomish criminal or gnomish criminal gang.
All right. Make an investigation check at disadvantage.
Is this despite my background of bounty hunter, where I have my ear to the ground?
Yeah, because you're not looking for bounties or things like that. You're specifically trying to find a shady part of town, looking for specific things. So trying to ask around, like, "Hey, do you know where the shady part of town is?" Is kind of. I know you're not saying. You're not saying
I get
that.
it. Okay,
but what I'm saying,
You can't ask
you
straight.
can't ask a straight question. Like,
No, of course. I get it. Yeah. Magnar, could you give me a bit of assistance on this, or do you want to headline this?
No. Go ahead. Hang on. Let me.
do you have proficiency in investigation?
No, I'm saying assistance as in I'm asking him for the divine guidance of Deska, unless he wants to be the one investigating, because I think he's probably smarter than me.
Well, I can hang on. I can give you some guidance as we go along. You seem more attuned to the criminal sort of class. I'll try a different angle in a bit.
13.
13. Okay. Give me one moment. I gotta set something up.
That's something. We found something. Not good, I don't think, but it's something.
All right. So you guys are asking around, trying to look for shady parts of the neighborhood, and a couple of people imply that there's a suspicious tailor that kind of is a yuan-ti and gives everyone a little bit of the creeps. Supposedly had jobs all across Lumaria. It worked as a gardener in Wallachia, was a scribe to one of the nobles of Jeru.
Can I interrupt for a second? Is this the same tailor that a certain magical purveyor of wondrous artifacts mentioned to us?
From the description, unless there's two yuan-ti tailors in Ameris, they'd have to be one and the same.
Awesome.
But it mostly, none of it really seems to add up. Like it mostly sounds like a lot of prejudice.
It's bullshit.
Bias. Like people are like, a lot of people not liking yuan-ti. So kind of deciding on your own to look for a bad neighborhood and having some experience with that, Hadrian, it isn't hard for you to kind of recognize some of the telltale signs of a bad neighborhood, although it's still only relatively bad. Ameris as a city is fairly well off, fairly opulent. There is still a seedy element, but a lot of it is very hard to find. But as you guys are kind of walking towards where you guys had heard about the place to buy some magical weapons that were for sale, you kind of head that direction towards that particular tavern again. And you guys are walking down an alleyway when you hear a couple of, like, sort of a chomping on some apple, and quickly kind of look behind you and see two gnomes creeping up behind you, kind of cornering you in this small little courtyard, and look up and spot another gnome kind of perched on top of one of the buildings. There's a bit of a stairway. We're going to go to the battle screen so you guys can see this. You recognize, first off, walking down the stairs, the dark-haired, sort of emo-dressed, sort of white ruffled shirt, black leather jacket, messy hair over one eye, long pointed ears, sort of young gnomish guy that you were chasing last night, kind of walking forward, followed by what looks like a young gnomish woman with maroonish pink hair in what looks like a school uniform with a giant red panda mounted on her back, sort of resting its head and paws. It's a red panda lion, sort of resting its paws on the top of her head, kneading into her hair.
That's not terrifying at all.
Up on the rooftop, sort of watching you guys, you see the gnome that you guys saw that Westorid described from the Musée de Croix, the large sort of goggle-like glasses over his eyes, the white hair, the flowing red trench coat, and big sword on his back, kind of perched dramatically on top of the building, watching all of you guys. Behind you, you see another gnome, somewhat emo, with dyed black and red hair, kind of in a messy ragtag pattern, wearing a very nice black blouse and tight leather pants, with some little pointy-tipped shoes on. And next to him, you see a fairly well-dressed, gentlemanly gnome that looks probably 12 years old, with white hair, a long red jacket, a huge red hat with a giant feather coming out of it, with a coy grin, a rapier on his side, kind of poised, looking as he's walking up to you with his chest kind of puffed out, keeping an eye on you. One of them says, yeah, that's the one, boss, kind of, he's the one that was giving me a hard time last night. He chased me halfway across town.
Lucky I didn't catch you.
Oh, the one with the panda says, isn't he dreamy? He's just, all that attitude. Oh, oh, I want him. He's mine. Can we keep him? And you see the panda kind of look at you and claws come out. Claws go in.
I look at her and
Claws go in.
okay, I'm gonna look at her and the panda. And just. I'm open to propositions.
He's gonna be my squish muffin. And just kind of wheels of hands. Oh, I could just fight him, eat him right up, oh. And
Do I? Okay. Do
as
I
you're
get the
saying
sense that that's
the other one,
metaphorical or literal?
make an insight check.
Okay, because I'm not getting 17. Oh wait, there should have been disadvantage. So 17, yeah.
Both?
Okay, I'm gonna nod because I feel like he's kind of into it.
Who's the
Not
priest
him.
that's with him? I didn't hear nothing about no priest. You know, far be it from me to piss off any of the gods. I won't want to make them angry. But so, who are the two of you? You know, I've been hearing a lot about you guys asking around town, looking for shady stuff, talking about gnomes. You know, I even hear from a reliable source that a couple of people that were seen with you last night were planning on talking to some of the, you know, arresters and law mages, and you know, that I think would be a really bad idea. Surely you got
First of all, what is your name? Because you clearly know us. I can introduce myself. My name is Hadrian Azuna, and I will bow with an emphasis towards the creepy one with the red panda, because I'll play the cards that I have on this one.
the panda hisses at you.
I lock eyes with the panda in a challenging fashion. And
Stand up, getting all poofy.
I
listen.
don't think that panda likes you very much.
I-
Magnar Smeltbrow, by the way. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Sir.
You know, happy to meet yours. Always nice to meet new friends. But I gotta say, you know, you're crossing our paths. I ain't liking that. You know, it makes me feel threatened. And when I feel threatened, I gotta send No for Show out to business.
I'm going to raise my hand and just say, trust me, if we wanted you to feel threatened, this would be a very different encounter. That's not the intention here. And I apologize if some of our comrades were talking about going to the authorities. I don't believe I need to make this case, but they kind of suck, and I'm not interested in kowtowing to them, turning over people who are just trying to make a living to them.
At least we seem to have an understanding. You know, me and my crew, we're just, you know, making ends meet. It's a hard thing to do in this city.
Oh, I'm sure, especially for, well, I mean, this city kind of. Anyway, again, we're not here to make enemies.
Okay,
I
then
mean,
what are you
we-
doing
we-
at the museum?
We could fight if some of you are interested in it. Again, looks at the gnomish girl because playing the cards. Well, it seems that we might
can
have
we
a
wrestle
share.
him? Can we wrestle? I really want to wrestle him. Just tackle him and just talk. Chop. Oh, I bet he tastes delicious.
We can certainly talk about that. Or not.
Hadrian, stay on topic.
I look back at Magnar and give him a look that says, "I am staying
Now,
on topic. I'm trying to."
Why are you guys constantly at the museum now? You ain't thinking about interfering with nothing now, are yous? Because we might have to put the kibosh
Well,
on that.
What is it we'd be interfering with? We're sort of trying to find that out, because it could be that we're actually on the same side here, and far be it from us to impede people who are working towards our ends. We could even be of assistance and not even trying to take anything from you. The point is not, we're gathering information here, and it seems you're doing the same thing. You're trying to get answers out of me, and I'm not falling for that shit. So, do you want to?
Well, you know, I'd start falling for something, because if you're looking around, it seems we have you at a disadvantage. And I'd hate for that to get nasty. You know, I'm a nice guy. I'm a friendly person. I don't like like this side of the business.
I was thinking it was a bit odd when you said that we were threatening you when you were outnumbering us quite so much and coming at us from multiple sides while we were just taking a stroll through town.
I mean, in fairness, I am a pretty scary looking person, but like,
I see.
It's like at least
I know. I'm sure you have.
5, 6. It's quite a lot of you.
Make an insight check.
Me or Magna?
You said you wanted to make an insight about him.
Yeah, you did.
17 again.
Uh,
Does he actually not like this side of the business? Is sort of what I'm trying to get from it.
you get the impression that he'll do what he thinks he has to.
Okay. Listen. We're not here to fight. Although I can fight for enjoyment any time of the week. We only want to talk.
Then start talking. If I like what you had here, then, you know, maybe we can work something out.
We have an interest in a certain item in the museum.
Yeah, which one is that?
There's less. Which one do you think it is?
Well, it's a big museum. There's a whole lot of stuff in there. And, if you expect me to kind of back off and not think you guys are trouble, I got to know what you're looking out for. Because if you're going after the same stuff we are, there could be a problem.
You said the same thing, so you're only going after one thing, it seems.
Not really interested in history, but, we go after where the pay takes us.
I understand.
So this is a hired job then, rather than speculating on a particular item of value. So you've been told what to look for, where to look for it, and how to acquire it. Thank you for the information.
Well, I didn't exactly say that, but if you want to assume anything, be my guest.
Can I ask you a very quick question? Like, this is again.
You're asking an awful lot of questions and not really answering any. I'm thinking I might have to get some answers out of you the hard way.
You are welcome to test that assumption of being possible at your convenience, but I simply had one more, which is the person that hired you somebody who looks a bit like me, wears a similar kind of trench coat?
Now, what kind of a person would I be if I went around telling who my employers are? You see, that word gets around that you're doing that, and no one trusts you with the job.
Oh, he's not asking who your employer is. He's asking who your employer isn't.
Exactly.
That's some pretty clever wording there, but I don't think it would do it. I gotta know if you guys are threatening us. So you start talking, maybe we can come to an arrangement. You keep prying, things are gonna get ugly. And you can see them kind of close in a little bit behind.
He is after something in the museum. We got that.
No, but are you after something in the museum that people who actually own and run the museum are not even aware is in the damn thing?
Probably.
He's just kind of standing there looking as he gestures to his guys to kind of close in.
Seven. Hello.
So again, Hadrian would simply, I'm not drawing a blade. I'm just putting my hand on the hilt.
As you do, you see the one with the big red hat put his hand on his rapier.
I look at him and I kind of nod, as in, like, I see you. You seem like
he's tilting his hat towards you, kind of warrior to warrior, making eye contact.
And I look right back at this man in front of me and the gnomish girl, and I say, "Okay, I will put one card on the table.
You better stop doing more than that.
Interested in. It's a big card. What we are interested in finding out.
Cards.
She gets it. Thank you for catching that. I was trying to make a euphemism, so good thing someone got it. Here. So, what we're interested in, whether you're after, is a small object recently added to the museum.
It does sound like we're after the same stuff, and that's got me pretty worried.
No, here's the thing. Again, I don't need this item. It is me. The only thing I'm interested in, that we are interested in, is ensuring it does not end up in the hands of a particular individual.
Make the persuasion check.
I'm going to spend my inspiration. And I'm going to give myself... So... That is a 25, and I'm going to... No, I'm not going to spend a hero point. I think that I'll sit with that 25.
It's a good roll.
If you're just trying... Funny enough, my employer also happens to be trying to keep it away from someone. Apparently, there's some really nasty guy walking around town, and this thing's kind of dangerous. Yeah, I heard some warning. You kind of match his description, so I'm kind of wondering if...
I don't have his hat. And I point to my head where there is no hat. And I
have to say, Hadrian, that's a fairly pathetic...
Yeah, you could have left your... Yeah, no.
I also have a small beard. He doesn't have that. I mean, again, we're related, but not, don't confuse me with him.
Well, they are quite definitely blood enemies.
And blood brothers, as you would know.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but yes, fair enough.
Well, the cards are on the table.
Look, this is all really fascinating, getting really complicated. I love the fact you've got kind of this troubled soul dynamic going on. It's really cute. Trigani over there, she's going to eat that up. She loves that kind of thing.
I was about to say I wink at Trigani.
And she's already kind of blushing and looking at you and has her hands up by her paws. Right? And as she's doing that, the red panda goes to leap off to attack you, claws out, and she just grabs him in her arms like a big stuffed animal. It's like, oh, I love him.
Oh, he's
Oh, I mean,
really adorable.
And he's kicking and fighting and flailing.
Okay, so listen. How about this? Again, if this is your task, we would be open to helping you with it. I have information, we have skills. There is something else we may be interested in the museum. Is more of a historical artifact that was personally of interest to me. And we'd be happy to coordinate our efforts if we could talk in a sort of more, well, less, and he looks around the alleyway, murder-y setting. Not that I'm sure, but do you have a place where we could, I don't know, sit, chat, get to know each other? Again, again, directing that to Trigani, because
Come to the mute mimic after you and your boys have redacted the statement and said, oh no, we don't know nothing about no gnomes. There ain't nothing going on and everything's peaceful. We were just mistaken and being racist because we've had a lot of history with gnomes and we're just jerks and assholes. Once I find out that Mr. Dupuy has called off his goons, we'll have a nice conversation.
His goons on you. Nobody I thought was. I'm sorry. I'm a little in the dark because in case you already knew this, but I was up on the roof, not talking to the Magister, so I have no idea what's going on.
Oh yeah, Isafu caught you from the other side of the building. He was watching you the whole time. Not bad, I gotta say. But definitely your climbing skills could use a little work, and you gotta keep a better eye out for the gods. Just a friendly tip.
No, I appreciate it. I also forgot that I had divinely endowed capacity to jump really high, which just I'm blushing at this. I forgot to use a thing that I had because, well, why would I? I'm fantastic either way. But the point is, like,
they'll behave. We don't have to rough it up. See, he's such a nice guy. We don't have to be mean to them. And then I can get to know them at the Mimic, and he'll buy me a drink, and it'll be amazing. And we'll sit and we'll talk, and then we'll spend the whole night together. So please, can we just be nice to them? I got a soft spot for Trigani over here. I suppose, as I said, you call off the gods, you tell them that it was all some big mistake. I don't care what you say as long as they drop the extra security.
I have no capacity to call off the gods. We can ask our friends for that. I didn't know the gods were called on, so...
They doubled the watch this morning.
We'll go back and have a chat with the big fella. He'll probably understand what that was all about.
Yeah, right. Okay. Magna, maybe you should do that.
Well, I think it'd be more convincing if it comes from big fella, because on account of how he stirred up all this in the first place.
No, I meant maybe you should talk.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You guys can figure it out on your own. Now, why don't you just turn a little round, walk that little hiney that Trigani's interested in right on out of here, head back to where you...
Okay, I was literally about to say, again, because he's playing the cards he has, I'll take off the trench coat and walk away, like, intentionally.
Do you mind just like a pointer in the direction of the mute mimic before we go? It's a big town, takes us a while, get lost occasionally.
Northwest side of town, underground little speakeasy type place underneath an old magic shop that's gone out of business.
Ooh, I love a speakeasy. Do they have like themed cocktails and stuff like that?
As a matter of fact, they do. They ain't too bad.
Excellent.
You should try the Toss's Laughter.
Ooh, I look forward to sharing a drink with you.
As you the one with the rapier kind of tucks in, tips his hat. A wise choice, sir. Would have hate to have roughed up someone as fine of a warrior as yourself.
I nod to him and say, nice hat, as we walk away.
And to you, priest. My apologies if I came off as threatening. I would have hate to have hurt a man of the cloth, but a job is a job.
Oh, I quite understand.
All right.
Good day, teacher.
Goodbye, new friends. Everyone.
Mutters something and his eyes do this kind of glow for a while, and then we walk off.
No, Magna, this is not the time to test if you can hit with your mace or not. We should.
We're heading off. Don't
go
worry.
find Addis. Right. Yeah.
So, Addis and Westora, you guys were heading across town to the arrestor station.
The museum. They were going to the museum, not the arrestor station.
Correct.
Oh,
Where were you guys going? I thought you guys had said you were going to go the arrestor station to
No,
report the gnome. I'm Mister. Been a little bit, so please tell me where the two of you are going.
Well, we talked about checking out the
The
posters.
sword in the museum and the posters, yeah.
Yeah. So that might be why you thought that. But we also were going to go to the museum and check out the sword. I guess we would go to whichever one is closest first.
The posters and stuff for the museum, or the museum itself, like.
No, like the wanted posters. The only reason we were going to the arrestor station was to look at wanted posters. We weren't going.
That's what I thought. That's why I got mixed up. So the arrestor station that you were directed to is further east inside the town than the museum. So you would have passed by the museum first.
All right. So yep, then that's where we start.
All right. So as you guys arrive at the museum, first thing that you notice is that there are about double the city guard around. The same number of law mages kind of walking around, keeping an eye on the area, but they've doubled the guard. And you do see one guard kind of checking and looking over everybody and kind of looking at a piece of paper as he sees you guys walking up, kind of looking at a piece of paper, looking at everyone, allowing you guys to pass.
Could I try and look at the piece of paper?
Yeah, make a perception check.
It's an 18.
So you kind of glance over your shoulder as you're walking past, and it is at first it's tricky to kind of figure out who it's supposed to be, just because it's a little generic kind of description, but it does look resembles Hadrian. The chin's a little pointier. His hair's drawn a bit longer than it actually is. He's got kind of a wicked glare, evil-looking face. You know, like whoever described it was kind of like, oh yeah, he was a horrible person. Like he was doing all that, you know, kind of.
I did a really good job.
And you have enough intelligence to kind of look at to recognize that a little bit of it is the distortion of how fast Hadrian was likely running, and the person trying to get a glimpse with the rapid motion and describe what he saw. But it's close enough that they might recognize him.
God, this is stupid as shit, but Addis is going to do it anyway. Addis is going to walk up and be like, pardon, I think I saw someone who looked kind of like that.
Oh, Nika, you've seen this gentleman, sir?
Yeah, did he have a funny hat?
I mean, they did not say anything about the hat. Apparently long coat. Older looking.
I saw a guy like him, but he had... I saw a guy like him, but he had a hat and he kept talking funny.
In what part of town?
God, it was... What part of town was Gilmore's in? Not
Gilmore's was in sort of the ritzy parts of the neighborhood. You don't know what the district's called, but it was past sort of this large atrium and where a lot of the larger temple-like school buildings are. You were on the far eastern side of town, not too far from the large castle called the Winter Palace.
Yeah, it was over in sort of the fancy district. I thought he was just a weird clown. The face, it kind of gives that vibe, but...
Indeed, we assumed he was probably under some kind of disguise spell.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, hope that helps.
I will report it. Thank you so much. And you see him continuing to kind of look people over, allowing you to pass. So you guys Westor, you watch as Addis is doing this, or are you doing anything?
I'm going to wait for him because I don't know entirely what he's doing. So as soon as he's done, then I'll head into the museum and check out the sword for Hadrian.
All right. So you guys walk in, make your way to the eastern wing. where you can see the sarcophagus, and most people don't seem to be looking at it. There does seem to be a kid that's probably 13, 14, kind of looking at it, talking with his friends. He's like, whoa, I bet that sword's real. No, it's just a statue. If it was real, they would have put it up. I know, but I mean, can you imagine what? I bet the whole thing, and Aldwin's really in there. He's a terrifying mummy, and he's going to just rise up and take over everything. And it's like, you've been reading too many little pulp scraps. It's like, no,
Addis
tell
is gonna
me.
walk up behind. Addis is gonna walk up behind the kids and just go, ah!
Ah! They jump and run.
It has nothing to do with the mummy. Addis is just a scary person, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have a chance to kind of look at the thing. You can see the intricate runes and carvings, the large full-bodied sarcophagus, the intricate inlaid, almost living person set on top of it with the sword. And since you guys know it's there, know where to look, the ring is there.
What are the look? I didn't have a good chance to like read or look at the runes. Could I try and read those? Like, what are they? Are they any sort of language that I would possibly know?
What language do you speak?
Common, giant, mythic, and orcish.
So they do seem to be written in a form of mythic.
Mm.
And it, as best as you can tell in some of the mythic carvings on it, trying to translate it, it is old. It doesn't look like, might have been written in primordial, and mythic is just picking up a little bit. But it seems to say that the sarcophagus needs to remain sealed, or Aldwin will return to this world and continue his war, unleashing the colossus of his citadel upon the shadowed, cursed lands, and all will fall tonight under the throne and crown of Ludwig of Ul'dah. And that woe to those who attempt to open it and awaken the Guardian.
It's already open, right? Clarification.
No. And according to what Addis knows, is according to Maciotus, they've never been able to even see inside of it.
Yeah, because the magic enchantments was rude too.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason I pictured the lid having been opened for some. I don't know why. Sorry.
No, it looks like people have tried to pry it open. Like there's scrapes and dents.
Okay, got it. That's what I was remembering. That's my bad. Sorry. I was clarifying for the viewers at home and for me.
Westora, this thing looks like pretty bad news. Yeah, if someone opened this, it could just be like, ooh, don't open it or else bad things will happen. But also the magic on this thing is pretty legit. So,
Well, what do you think we should? I mean, right now, you know, nobody's trying to open it.
yeah, I'm just worried that if like we try to come, you know, if something was to happen with gnomes or otherwise, we wouldn't want to knock this thing open.
Well, I think there's nothing we can do about that now, but it's important.
No, it's just good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. For now, at least, let's just do what we came to do, and we can relay that information to everybody else when we see them again.
Yeah, I mean, so the obvious thing is that the sword's probably Aldwin's sword, right?
I did. So Hadrian did say as a clarification that it wasn't the Black Blade. He knew that, but yeah. So just clarifying for.
And you guys can have that discussion when you meet back up. As you guys are looking around the museum, are you doing anything else?
Are there any like placards for the sword or the sarcophagus in general?
The placard just says, that this is the sarcophagus of Aldwin that was defeated due to the triumphant work of the Magi of Ameris and their alliance as they came to the aid of the alliance that was of Marcouche and Cutania and Jaru and Astria during their attempts to repel Aldwin 300 years ago. And that basically it's somewhat propaganda. Basically, they're saying that like all the people were having problems fighting Aldwin, and that Nexus was
Ameris turned up.
destroyed, and that Ameris showed up and saved the day, and they used magics to destroy Aldwin, and to bring back Daikon, the Swamp King, and Spring Lord of the Fae. Who was able to pierce Aldwin with a magical weapon and kill him, and that they then entombed him in the sarcophagus so that his undead cursed body could never rise again.
Well, let's just take a closer look at this sword for now. And this is what we came to do, and then we can leave and move on.
I mean, the sword looks real.
Yeah. So, what about the sword? Did Hadrian want us to check?
And it's mostly just a long, sort of triangle-shaped blade, like very narrow tapers. It does look to be a great sword. It runs the full length of the sarcophagus with the hilt in between the fists clasped over the chest on the sarcophagi. And it seems to be made of stone, just like the statue. But you can see it comes to a razor's edge.
So there's, correct me if I'm wrong, but in this room there's also a broken sword, right? There's like pieces and shards of a.
Yes, and the placard says that it's the Black Blade. That there's this broken sword that's the remains of the Black Blade.
Does it look like the same sword?
The other one, and you don't notice anything unusual about it. Most likely that's a fluff piece. You're smart enough to tell that that's probably not the actual Black Blade. It's just some shattered sword that someone was like, this must be the ruins of the Black Blade because the Black Blade was shattered. And we found a shattered sword in the battlefield. So, obviously. And there's some wands and like remnants. There's a bunch of different stuff from the war. Large bows. Sort of, it's a very memorial, as if you were looking at like a Gettysburg museum or something like that. Little war trinkets and bits of armor and sort of art pieces of the battlefield of what fighting Aldwin was like. Urns, little things found from a fragment of the walls of Nexus, because Nexus fell to Aldwin's armies the only time it was ever conquered. And Ameris is the ones that set it free, and so they were allowed to keep this cornerstone of the walls as an honor of trust.
Addis is super invested in Nexus. Like he's staring at the shard like, I want it. That's so cool.
I think we should just leave. I mean, I really don't know what it is we're supposed to be looking for here. It's a sword. It's still here. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what we're supposed to learn about it other than it's there.
I don't know. I just assume there might be other things we can learn from this museum. You'd been on a big learning kick, so
no, totally. Like we've already been here, and so far it's the same. I mean,
I hadn't been here before, to be fair, so I was didn't know if I would be able to catch anything.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Frosty, is the ring still on the sarcophagus?
It is.
Just checking.
Could I Oh, sorry.
I was just going to ask you if I don't have any ideas. So whenever you're ready to go, just let me know.
Yeah. Before we leave, Frosty, like just sort of doing a tour of the museum, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any imagery that mirrors or echoes the dreams, the weird spider, and all of the sort of strange architecture?
Not that you can see.
Mhm.
Looking around, I mean, there's a few paintings of different gods and a few figures. But make a wisdom save.
God, I have such bad wisdom saves. That's a 4.
As you're kind of looking, you start to notice in the different paintings and the different art, different scenery, even on the sarcophagus, everywhere you look, there's depicting some sort of historical event with imagery. You can see this spider-like figure, almost like on a dollar bill. There's you're in England, so you might not know, but on a $1 bill for America, there's a little spider hidden in one of the corners, and you do see this spider-like shape with just hundreds of eyes, usually very small, kind of moving alive like. And as you're kind of looking at it and gesturing, you even kind of note to Westora, like, hey, do you see that? And Westora's like, no, like, I don't see what you're talking
It's like,
about.
where's Waldo? It keeps moving.
But, and it's almost as you're doing it, like these images come to life and you can hear the chorus of the battle, the shouts of the soldiers, the clangs, and this entity is just always watching everything play out. And the walls kind of looks like are moving and breathing a little bit. The dragon skeleton's claws flex.
Man, they really need to clear the asbestos out of this place.
What do you mean?
We should we should go. We should go. Um,
Well,
you're right.
why?
This was pointless.
You hear a
Uh,
feminine voice, Addis, whispering in your ear, and that fear of I don't want to look. I don't want to look, like something right out of the corner of your eye creeping in. And this soft feminine face, as you just see these strange fingernails kind of creeping up along your cheek. White, wet hair drifting on the side of vision. Don't you want to peek inside? Open it. You can just take the ring. And then it's gone. And that shiver.
Did you want to go now?
Frosty, what's the security like in this room?
In the room you're in, you just see like a couple of guards walking past, mostly just people. They seem to be mostly keeping an eye on the halls and entrances and exits.
Can I?
He's gonna turn and try and. Are those kids from earlier? Are they still around?
Mm-hmm.
Can I make a quick roll just see if I can tell what's going on with
Yeah,
Addis, or
sure.
what more accurately, what I can tell is going on with Addis? Addis can decide what.
Alice is gonna go up to one of the kids and be like,
One. Nope. I'm just
he's
impatient
really
to leave.
composed. He's going over to apologize to those children he scared earlier. As
Wow,
Addis, like,
you're
leans
really
down and
big. Are you a giant?
Sure, we'll say that. I'll give you 100 gold if you can get the ring off of that sarcophagus for me.
200.
200, fair, but you have to be able to bring it back to me.
They look at each other. Okay, yeah, you go. If you go
What?
distract the
Am I,
guard.
am I there?
Yeah, you're walking with him. You hear him say,
I
you
said,
can see the kids
no.
walking off.
Okay. Children into criminal.
Like, you hit the guard in the shin. I'll
doing?
run up. I'll try and grab the
No,
ring. How do
no,
we
no.
get the
He's
ring?
joking. He's
This'll
joking. He doesn't have
work.
any money.
This
He's
is
a poor scamp. Addis, no.
Make a persuasion check, Westora.
At disadvantage, they're kids. They like gold. They have no common sense.
Posse advantage, disadvantage.
I'm gonna say disadvantage because the
They're
kids don't want to cause trouble.
At this point,
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to spend a point of inspiration to cancel that out.
Okay.
More money than they've ever seen. Like,
I rolled a 30.
Holy cow!
They kind of look at you and go, "Yeah, Mom, whatever." Fine, that's fine. And kind of walk off.
Perfect
hey,
plan.
Restara's going to turn at Addis. And even though he's like looking up at her, he's going to, like, she has to look up to see him. She's going to put her like fists on her hip and cock it to his side, give him a look. Like a mother looking at a little child and say, "What was that?"
she's so disappointed.
It was a idea.
Yeah, an idea to send little children to steal a magic ring of potentially unknown consequences in a museum that's heavily patrolled by guards?
They're kids. What's the worst that could happen?
Us? Hell, Darth put on a random ring given to him by Jill, and he had to get it, break his finger to get it off. It still didn't get it off.
They're kids. It grows back or something, right?
Jesus Christ. Whatever the equivalent. What would Endara's equivalent of that? Hey,
It's like Ao's wings.
Ayo's rings out. Gosh. All right, we're leaving.
That's fair. That's fair. Kids, hit me up if you need.
One of them kind of looks and points. He got in trouble.
His mom was mad at him.
Addis is like pouting, like a shoulder.
Wastora is still, like, by the way, a third of his height. I want to make it clear. Like,
Yes, yeah.
All right. So
And I'm shaking my head as we leave.
Yeah. As you guys are walking out, where do you head?
We'll go. I think we'll go to go check
We're
out
gonna go to
those
the-
lawn posters.
Yeah,
All right.
the Arrestos in where was it? Merrill Street.
Yep. So you head up to kind of looking around, trying to find Merrill Street. It's not too hard to find. You can see the large, opulent arrestor station, these large, grand archways, almost more of a church or temple than that. And you can see a couple of people are in stockades outside. And as you're walking up, there's a small, like, wanted poster out, like bounty board posted up. You only see 3 things posted.
So we'll take a look.
All right. So as you're looking, you see a picture of a sort of very faint white with greenish hued skinned, very long-eared woman, and ratty hair with a whole bunch of junk inside of it. But as you look closely at the hair, it looks more like the hair is snakes. Wearing sort of it comes up a dress that kind of wraps around the neck and drapes across the chest and wraps around the waist, and then sort of has a thinner slit that runs down between the legs. And it says, "Wanted for illegal use of divination magic, false prophecies, and threatening the queen." There is a 100,000 gold bounty on her.
Oh my goodness.
Suspected of murder. The other one is the depiction of Hadrian, that you recognize. Breaking and entering, assault on a law mage, disrupting the peace, and illegal use of magic. 1,000 gold.
I was gonna say we could turn them in, but that's like peas and carrots.
We're not turning in Hadrian.
The
We
last
could turn
one
in like a fake Hadrian.
is a depiction of Godric, Ameris' most wanted. 1 million gold reward, dead or alive.
Oh boy.
And it just lists mass murder, terrorism, inciting riot.
Just everything.
And it's not
Illegal
that great of a
copyright.
depiction. And what you notice is the drawing, like it's that like it would be very easy to mistake Hadrian for Godric in this picture.
But they do have both.
They do have both, and they seem to think these are two different people, but Hadrian kind of falls somewhere in the middle between the two.
So basically, I'm pretty fucked. Like I look like
You guys know him. You don't know. It's hard to say because you know him if anyone else would make this
Right.
connection.
All right, I'm gonna need that fake mustache, gosh.
Just wear your the mask that you got for the Queen's birthday. Like,
Oh, yeah, the angel
coming
mask.
out.
Not
Yeah.
suspicious at all.
No.
Just walking around with a mask on.
Well, maybe you should buy a less like distinctive mask then. Did you think of that?
Or a less distinctive outfit in general. Anyway,
Maybe
Westora,
distinctive and unique. Like, it'd be boring.
Fine.
Westora, maybe we could pin Hadrian's crimes on Godric, but then I guess either way, Hadrian's still screwed.
The woman
Mm-hmm.
that you're looking for
Mm-hmm.
is named Izoni Hannequin.
How do you spell the last name?
HENNEQUIN. And it also says that she's reportedly suspected of consorting with the Fae.
This is that one with snake for
Yep.
hair.
And it says she was using divination magic. That might be something
Illegal use of divination magic.
illegal use of divination magic and consorting with the Fae. That's.
I wonder if she is an agent of Zamara.
She might be. We could try and find her. She might be linked. There was a elvish woman who was apparently practicing divination magic. Maybe she would know.
Maybe. But right now, the need for that is unknown. Although I'm wondering if we might not figure out a way of using divination to help us advance.
To
our
try and
goals.
maybe we.
Monsieur
could try and get
Nahaz, you
divine-
made it.
Oh, hello.
And walking out of the door, you see the finely dressed gentleman, same clothes as you saw him before, but this time with actual shoes. Sort of the large
and actual
knee-high
clothes,
boots.
I assume.
You can imagine that this is not an illusion. He's got his hair very well slicked back. He says, "You came to make your report, I take it." Ah, and
Yes,
who's your lovely
yep.
friend?
This is I mentioned to her, Westora. She can introduce herself. You have like titles and stuff, right?
My title is merely courtier of the Winter Court, I believe. Right, Frosty? Is Winter Court? Is what we
Mhm.
decided on? A courtier of the Winter Court.
The fall.
The Fall. The Fall Court. Courtier
Well,
of the Fall Court.
It is a pleasure to meet you,
Wisdom, fresh.
Madame Fristeau. I am Lord Maciotus de Poy III.
I am honored. Pleasure.
Rusty, is Magna by any chance finding them at the office or the museum where he went to look for them?
We'll get to that. They had you guys were walking around looking for a while, so
Okay, no, I didn't know the time, so yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, simultaneous times, tricky.
yes, this is why splitting the party. It's hell on the GM. Never do it. That's really why. That's why we kill you guys when you split the party. It's just to make our job easier.
Oh, I can't track it. Right, half you're dead. Excellent.
Yeah.
Museum falls, you die. Yeah.
Nah, I got to flirt with a gnome and a panda. We're good. Like that's all there is to it. So
But
worth it.
this is Miss Fresno. I was told that you had information on people attempting to rob my dearest Musée de Croix.
Yes. Unfortunately, I have not had a chance to speak to Hadrian or Magnar since they met with the gnome, so I proceed to give them a description of the gnome I saw.
Describe the gnome that you saw.
I don't think you gave me a detailed description.
I did. I did describe the gnome that you saw.
This was, to be fair, for my character, this would have been like
Make an intelligence
3 days
save.
ago. For me, this was like a month and a half ago.
Make an intelligence save.
All right.
Gnomes all look the same to you. I don't know. We'll see.
Whoa.
While he was short, he
Sort of
looks-
gnomish looking.
Yeah, a bit like a gnome.
Perhaps
You look
had
like
some
a
sort
gnome.
of gnomish.
I think if I remember right, he may have had a distinctive hat, but that's probably all I can remember. I got a 19.
So what you recall is
Did he
he
have
had
two hands?
goggle-like glasses, a long red coat, and a large greatsword.
Yes, I say
White hair.
goggle-like glasses. Light hair.
Okay.
I barely remembered that. I thought blonde, but couldn't remember. A long red coat and a greatsword.
He takes the description and kind of walks in and talks to a couple of the arresters nearby. And as they're doing that, the arresters come out, and you actually start to see them walking a gentleman out to what looks like a gallows. He's in sort of scruffy, torn, tattered leathers, dark hair, looks a little middle-aged, and he's kind of arguing. He's like, yeah, you guys are going to go down for this. The revolution cannot be stopped. We'll be free. Magic belongs to the people. They smack him. And as he's walking, you guys can actually see little black splotches and bandages on his arms and body. As they take him to him, thank you so much for your information. We will certainly have this put out, and begins to talk to the other, just relaying the description, and the law mage that Mr. Deploy is talking to uses some prestidigitation magic to inscribe it on a piece of paper, then duplicates it into a stack, puts one up on the bounty board, and it's 500 gold for their capture, and then takes the rest in.
Could I ask, you know, trying to get into a school, bit of money involved in it. This bounty poster for the snake woman, Izoni Hennequin. Do you have any more info on that?
No, all I know is that she scared some people. She said that a terrifying force was going to attack and slaughter the queen, and apparently the investigator considered it a threat. My understanding is that she has been taken into custody. But
Oh, she's already been caught.
that is the rumor.
Well, where would she be if she'd been caught?
I imagine that she would be taken to Azorius. That is one of the prisons nearby.
Yes. Okay.
I should not tell you this, but she was ranting and raving, seemed to have gone mad. So she was being taken to the I believe she was being taken to the Azorius Asylum. Or
Quite
so
tragic.
I hear. It is one of the dangers of magic. There are many entities in this world that will use magic to twist and warp the minds and consume the souls of those without the proper education. That's why I'm glad to hear that, Monsieur Nahaz, that you are looking into obtaining entry into Strixhaven. But do not indulge in frivolous magic use until you have had the proper safeguards and warding education.
Of course not. I wouldn't dream of it.
But do not worry. If that is the woman that was captured, then the Azorius Asylum will help her free her from whatever nefarious bindings that she got.
So she mentioned something about the queen was in danger. Is that not like something that puts people on edge of like what if the queen is in danger, right?
But that is why I believe that they are taking the investigation so seriously.
Okay.
It is. I have only heard rumor.
But if someone else was to say that, they would also probably be investigated, right?
If you go on ranting and raving about how the queen is going to die horribly, I imagine someone will take keen interest in that.
Of course they would.
We should remember to remind our mutual friend of that was Dora, because he does like to rant and rave.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very, very much.
It is my pleasure. And
yes,
if it turns out to be rumor, I will let you know. They could have caught another mad woman. Dallying in magic unprotected is great risk. I've just heard that they caught the woman.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. As soon as we're out of earshot, I'm going to lean over to Addis. Says, I think very clearly we need to figure out a way of speaking to this woman.
Especially that doesn't seem like coincidence that she knew the queen was in danger.
It definitely cannot be coincidence. I agree.
Maybe she was working with the lady, the goddess.
Possibly, or she could be some other just magic user, divination, who tried to do the right thing and got in trouble.
As you guys are talking, you guys see Magnar walking up.
Oh, hey, Magnar. She could be fated, actually. We haven't considered that.
Yeah, well,
right?
I don't know how you can test if somebody's fated or not.
But we all saw that like shared dream where we were killed by. What if she was in that fear?
Like divination magic exists regardless, right? So,
as Magnar, you have no idea what they're talking about.
What? Wife?
There may be a lady with snake hair who knows about the thing and the visions and the future.
Well, all we know is that she said that.
Did you say snake hair
to the queen? Yeah, she has snake
Yeah.
hair. But she said that something bad was going to happen to the queen, and she's been put into an asylum for it. But the prediction sounded very similar to what we know is going to be happening. So there's more to it than that.
Fae, so she might.
Right.
Like there's links, right?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, God forbid anybody consort with the Fae, right?
Yeah, wait. That's a good point. Is that a crime? You just admitted you were
a crime in this city, as far as I can tell.
You just admitted to them that you are a Fae courtier.
Well, no, it's not a crime to be a member of the Fae court. It's a crime to use magic.
Okay. Separate thing.
The implication that they made on that is that basically kind of illegal consorting with the Fae to gain magic.
Okay.
It isn't, as far as you can tell, it's not illegal to be Fae or to consort with the Fae in and of themselves. But
I myself obviously get my magic from Fae connections, but so if
no one's seen you use it.
Well, also we technically do have protection, but I have been not using it, so
yeah,
not been an issue.
So
Anyway, so Magnar, how did you find the gnomes?
Yes, we should probably have a conversation about that elsewhere. But some of the things that we hoped were true were true.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah. What were
Yeah.
they?
Well, we think they're trying to keep things out of the same hands as we are.
Oh, so we're
They,
okay.
they said they were trying to keep it out of the hands of Godric.
Well, they weren't quite so precise, and they're a bit sort of shifty. We've set up a meeting with them later. I suspect they might not know the name of who they're trying to keep things out of the hands of. So,
So what, do they have like a description or?
well, they have. Yes, they do have a description. They were perhaps not surprisingly slightly suspicious of Adrian.
So
As
they
you look at the posters on the bounty
I
board.
was
just
poster.
Oh, hello.
Why? So they've been hired to keep the ring out of somebody's hand, and they have a description that could be either Godric or Hadrian.
Godric or Adrian.
Well, yeah, but I
Do
think
we know that they weren't hired to keep the ring out of Hadrian's hand by like Godric?
Guy. All right.
they seemed easily persuaded that Adrian was not the person.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yes.
You say that. Do you think they might be trying to keep us up on guard?
If we turn up at the bar and we get accosted in a giant ambush, then you were probably right.
It's just a concern. I think
It's a valid.
what it means is that we should show up at the bar prepared in
With
case.
yeah.
There's
Long live the revolution! Crack. You just see it
Oh.
swaying.
I'm sorry. I just thought of Blazing Saddles. It's all right. It's all right. It's just a man and his horse being hung.
I hate that. That is something from my prophecy. Do.
Sorry. Okay, never mind. I can't say anything.
No. Right. Pay no attention to the rope.
Anyway, when do we have to meet at this bar?
Well, I think that's later this evening. We can probably meet up with Hadrian back at the.
We should do that. Let's go back.
Have you issued your report?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
We're all done.
right. Because the gnomes were quite keen on that not happening.
One of the guards is walking over and hanging up a wanted poster of... You recognize the gnome with the greatsword that was perched up on top of the building, ready to pounce down on you guys, being put up as a wanted poster for 500 gold.
Westora?
Mhm.
Have you been letting your heightest racist mind run away with you again?
Yeah, Wastora, that's really irresponsible of you. No.
You find small people walking around and you start accusing them left, right, and centre. Remember when we first met, you thought I was a shifty old so-and-so till you got me over.
Is Magnar trying to make a scene to get it taken?
Yes, exactly.
Make a performance check.
Oh, God.
Use inspiration. Guidance.
I held on to it.
I slap him.
Are you proficient in performance?
I am not, and it's a charisma skill, which I...
Westora, are you proficient in
Who
performance?
said performing?
I'm trying to find out if you're giving him the help action. Oh, no.
Fine. I feel like she's unintentionally giving him the help action now.
Because she knows that if you want to let it help him, but that is not why she's slapping you.
Hero point.
Look, please.
Yeah, hero
Hero
points,
point. Hero point.
Back.
It's coming
Oh.
in. 5 on the hero
Hey,
points.
This is
16.
performance for Magnar. Come on.
The guy kind of looks and says, "You are the lady that gave the. Wait, are you biased again? Can you please? All right, look. Can you tell me, is this the person that you just said was casing out the museum or not?"
Well,
I look over
looks quite
at Magnar. I give him
everyone looks quite small to me.
a very narrow look, and through gritted teeth, I say, "I'm not sure."
Make a
You just
deception.
people have no right to be there and are just shifty.
It's not our fault that because you're so hard to see. It's like a natural stealth.
No.
And that's in the ground.
Everyone is giving help to everybody.
As you guys are arguing, he goes, damn it, and pulls it down and storms inside.
Discord can be good.
I give Magnar a cold stare and then slowly turn away before walking back to the house.
As we're walking back, assuming that
It's kind
she's
of
giving us the silent treatment.
prejudiced to think us common folk could be used. You know, I didn't become a knight to cause problems like this.
I'm getting out of here too. Right.
I feel like
wants to
Adrian is sitting in the chair at the chateau is like, oh, how was it, you guys? Everything good?
Adrian sneezes. Someone's talking about me.
Addis wants to like fall back while they're walking back and quickly grab like Magnar and be like, Magnar, you're good with the god messages, right?
Well, I'm slightly better, I think, maybe at interpreting them and not quite so good at receiving them.
Okay. Do you see that building?
Yeah, which one? Well, that one. Yes.
Just point at a random tavern or inn or something with
Right.
like a swing sign out front. Do you see the spider?
The what now?
The spider.
No.
No, but my eyesight's not quite that good. Is yours that good?
Yes.
Well, how big a spider are we talking about here? It must be like...
You don't want to
How-
look.
how big is-
Like you're trying not to look.
It's from imagine like it's from like a small horse to a big horse, estimated.
No, I'm quite certain that there are no spiders, small or large horse in size, having anything to do with that building.
Hypothetically, if I was seeing spiders everywhere, which I'm not, just hypothetically, what would that mean?
As you hear something moving across the rooftops closer to you, Addis. The shadows
Also-
shifting.
I think I got hit on by a woman earlier. Not used to that, so I'm also confused what that means.
I'm fairly sure that's not connected to seeing imaginary spiders the size of horses.
This has
I'm not
nothing
sure
to
about
do-
that. It felt connected.
This has nothing to do with you convincing small children to steal the ring in the museum, does it?
No.
Make a deception check.
Should I?
No.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
I
Let's,
don't. Is he being
I
deceptive?
think
I don't know.
it's a disadvantage.
yeah. Do that at disadvantage.
For that one. For a -1.
It plays out exactly like
That's
that.
fitting. It's fitting.
Magnar, Ed is here.
Yes.
Unlike you, who is incredibly rude and annoying with well intentions,
Right.
he decided
Effective,
to
I think.
put children in harm's way by wanting to pay them money to steal the ring off the sarcophagus in the middle of the museum
lying.
in broad daylight.
They were
Right.
interested. It was a business proposition.
Alice, did
Yeah.
we not?
Children,
I'm
small
fairly sure
children,
that we had a conversation
small children.
about planning and coordinating and the importance of it all, and not sort of going off on random
But then-
tangents at unexpected
But then
moments.
the woman told me to do it, and like
Sorry, what woman told
She
you
didn't
to
say
do a
that
thing
spec-
like that?
I mean, she didn't say that. She told me to do it myself. But I was like, well, why could I do that myself when there's children around?
Oh, so hence your earlier point of why you're now seeing visions from the gods after being spoken to about by a spooky woman who told you to do something that we've been trying very hard not to get caught doing.
Yes.
I retract my earlier statement that the two weren't connected.
Thank
And
you.
with
I was
that,
right.
We'll go on break and pick up when you guys get back to Breton. All right, and we're back. And we are going to pick up as you guys walked back to the Chateau Breton.
I'm sort of sitting there with my feet up on a couch reading one of the books Jill gave us and just, oh, hello everyone. Hope your day was good. We have to meet with some gnomish criminals at the Mute Mimic later tonight to discuss a mutual interest in keeping that ring away from Godric. So,
Well,
I
Addis
got that.
Addis is trying to hire small children to steal the ring from the museum and is hearing
That's
voices from the
basically
creepy
what
woman
gnomes are.
and seeing spiders. There's a woman with snakes in her hair, who is apparently does divination magic and knows about the attack on the queen. Magnar insulted me,
Oh,
and
no,
so I
no,
slapped him.
sorry. Yeah, I really should explain. The gnomes asked us to
No.
stop.
No, I understand why you did it.
Right.
I'm not any happier about it.
So Hadrian is just looking at the book he's reading and just,
And you're a wanted criminal.
well, that's not surprising at all.
Actually, you're actually a wanted criminal times 2 because
Okay.
the poster. There's a poster for you and there's a poster for Godric, but they look a little bit too close together.
All right, so I'm gonna leave. Well, you know what? Thankfully, I don't have my trench coat anymore, if that's a thing. So I can.
Well, hey, hypothetically, we could turn you in for 100,000 gold.
I'm worth that much. He's just blushing.
Yeah. No,
Well,
that was God. That was God.
Godric is.
yeah, we'd have to
Yeah.
find a
You were
decent
worth
sized sort of
1,000,
hat
I
to put
think.
on you, and then
Yeah, it's fine.
1,000.
Listen, I appreciate.
You're worth a tenth of Godric. Just a
1,000 is actually 100 of 100.
That is 100.
I knew that.
Just, I feel like a long silence. Looks the book back up and looks back at us, raises an eyebrow. So
I've had a spidery weird day.
it's fine. I think I've had those too. We need to go to the mute mimic, talk to these gnomes, see exactly what their issue is. Again, if they are interested in keeping that ring away from Godric, or their patron is, we should help them with it. And while we're doing so, again, I did you get to look at the sword, by the way?
We did, but I'm
I
not sure.
didn't get anything on it.
Yeah, I'm
What,
not sure
what
if
were
we
you
knew
looking for?
what we're looking for. Yeah.
I don't know. It felt very familiar to me. I saw it and I recognized it. That's all. Like,
Well,
It's not the Black Blade. It's not. They don't have
No,
anything
it's-
specific for it.
we could not see anything about it that made it
Okay.
stand out or was special.
maybe if we're helping them with the heist, I can look at it and see again.
Well, I mean, you've got a lot of years of memories buried in you. You could have seen that sword or something like it, and given
So there is.
it
the
may not be
slightest-
something we could figure out without you.
There's also the slightest, teeniest issue of what the sarcophagus says, which is that if it's opened, Alduin gets released and murders everybody.
So we don't open it.
Well, except you wanted to hire kids to open it. Well, I wanted to get
I
the ring.
know. I wanted them to steal the ring, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
on top of it.
But if
Different.
the sword and the ring are both on top of it, that's not,
Yes, there's a chance that in trying to steal it, they could open it.
Well, okay, so we should stop them from doing that, but that's why we should go meet them at the mute mimic.
Should we
Yeah,
not
we should-
maybe? Should we maybe not? I mean, I don't know how much you told them, but like, should we maybe pretend that we're going after the sword?
We never actually said. We sort of came to an agreement and an understanding that we probably were after the same thing, but didn't actually say it out loud.
Yeah, I told him it was a small item recently added to the museum. I never said the ring specifically, but
They seem to know.
Also, I think we should be careful. Magnar told us that they said that they were trying to prevent the ring from getting into somebody's hands. Somebody that looks a lot like you. I know you were making the assumption that was Godric, but
I met with them and they're willing to meet with me. So I mean, like,
With the one, no, but like with the wanted
we should be
posters,
cautious. It could be some.
the
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
posters especially are, you know.
all right, that's fine. But so
Yeah.
so
I agree with you. It seems like they want to keep it out of Godric's hand. Just
let's
pointing out.
let's be cautious, but I do think we should meet with them. 'Cause
Oh yes, no, there's no doubt about it.
How
What
many,
about this?
how many were there?
7.
Especially because I'm now being seen as a racist by all the police force, thanks to you,
I had to.
Magnar.
Sorry, I had to think a bit quickly and
Mm.
get the
So-
poster down, and I would note that the poster is no longer up.
Listen, it's fine.
Well, I don't think that's for you to say it's fine. I think it's for Westora to say it's
No,
fine.
I
don't
mean-
think she's about to do so.
I didn't mean it's fine. Sorry, I meant to say we've all fucked up a lot. Obviously, I fucked up enough to get an unwanted poster, right? It's more a question of, at this point, we have a deadline. We should move forward with it,
Yeah.
and we can talk about. You can talk about forgiving each other over drinks. I know I promised a strangely attractively psychopathic gnomish woman and her red panda a drink, so I should honor that deal because I feel like otherwise they'll kill me in my sleep.
Okay, just quick question, Hadrian. How old are you again?
I don't remember.
Cool. When you, so you're going to meet this crazy psychopath for a drink, correct?
Probably.
I know a great place for the two of you to have a perfect date. It's this place called Isorius. It's supposed to be really swanky. The full 9 yards.
I have no idea what you're referring to, Kovacs. I'm sure it's a great insult, but
You should check it out. That's all I'm saying.
I will. I will. Thank you. Someday I'll do so. My old bones.
Oh no, it's in town. You probably could invite her over there.
I can't.
Well,
I cannot
Okay,
respond
so-
in character without knowing what I'm responding to. So Hadrian's gonna nod. Remember that time when you thought that 1,000 was a 10?
Shut up!
All right,
Not,
Adrian's
not-
point.
you guys
Let's
hear
go.
banging on the door and then it creaking open.
Oh, it just opens?
Yep.
We should lock
Lock
this.
the door. We should lock the door.
Should lock the door.
Hello?
This is Jill. They had a key. I'm gonna go out into the main hall and see who it is.
You see Jill walking in his blue robe. He's got a
Okay.
little package, a small little Kate in his arms. She's walking in.
I
Good evening.
leave.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to see you, Estora.
Always. Do you have some need that brings you by?
Well, it was requested that you guys take these, a particular set of earrings that allows you to communicate with me, and I wanted to check in and see if your progress, if you've managed to locate or find out what Godric's doing in town, or if he's managed, or how he's planning to do whatever it is that he's doing.
We have a few leads.
I see. Oh, do you feel like sharing any of them? Perhaps we could coordinate our efforts.
Not
He's
currently.
gonna attack
think-
the ball, right?
You don't say. How fascinating.
We never told him that. We purposely were not telling him that, Addis.
What?
I didn't know this. I missed that. I missed the memo.
Well,
Is that retconnable? Because we were
nope,
so
nope.
Damn it, Addis.
So it seems you have made progress. Far more progress than I gave you credit for. Well, then it's all the more important that we make sure that you guys can blend in at the masquerade so that we can surround and capture Godric that evening and spare anyone from his horrible plans for them. I would be ashamed if anything was to happen to my dear cousin.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I am not making an insight check to know he's bullshitting on that. I'm sorry. Like,
No, he is.
yeah,
He's even told us.
yeah, I know.
Can we get a? We've been doing such a good job. Can we get a raise?
Your stipend comes once a month. I've already given you the one this
Okay.
month.
Thanks.
How has
Yep.
been preparing for the masquerade? Have you learned to dance yet? I'm sure a stone figure like yourself must be quite the 2 left feet. Yes. This will be fascinating.
Adrian dances up to Jill and inclines his head in an extremely mocking fashion and walks out the door without saying another word.
Bill, thank you very much for these earrings. But if you will excuse us, we do have a few matters to look into, and I was hoping to not share any information with you until we had confirmed the details. As Wasura gives Addis a
Well, it's
cold
rather
look.
good that you did, because, as a matter of fact, my nephew happens to be the one planning the party, and if you were to get on his good graces, I'm sure you could sneak into the party preparations and help learn a bit about the location and make plans to stop Godric.
Very kind of you to say. Thank you. That would be a
Good
great
thing.
opportunity.
I leave it to your devices on how to get into his good graces. He does tend to be a fan of attractive young women and performs regularly at the Bloom Theater.
What's his name, by the way? Yeah,
Quintilius. He's a rather
Achilles.
annoying little prat, but he has his uses.
Addis, he's a fan of attractive young women. You should get your kimono out.
I was thinking we could send Barry wearing a maid outfit.
Ooh, that's better.
Oh. Yes, our brief encounters should be kept to a minimum. I do believe that. Anyways,
again,
these are for
that-
you. They are perfumes. They will allow you to cast sending amongst each other and to myself.
Oh, thank you. That's perfect.
Ah,
How many earrings are there? Are there like for each of us?
One for each of you.
Oh, damn.
Okay. So so to clarify, Frosty, when we send with this, does it automatically go to everybody else, or does it only go to one person we send it to?
One person.
Okay, good. I'm gonna prank call Jill.
What is the name of these specific the item? Sorry,
Earring of sending,
Yeah.
maybe.
Hearings of sending.
is it in the thing?
No. It's like a sending stone.
Okay.
It's just fancy.
It's just a fancy thing. Okay.
okay.
Well, if you
And they're a
excuse
little
us.
gold sort of earring that you can kind of, like a little pearl dot sort that you can slide through an ear piercing.
Right.
If
They
you
do
will
require
excuse us,
attunement.
I will attune to the earring as I put it on and just say, if you'll excuse us, I have things to do that are more important than you.
He has a date.
Remember, it takes an hour to.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
Oh, then we have that in common. Good day to all of you.
Oh.
Good day. Good day, Jill. Until next time.
Jill has a date too.
Come on. We told you something. You got there's a sharing relationship. Give us a little bit.
Anyway, I'll.
He
prep
looks at you
myself a
and
bit.
he says, "My friend Aliyah Sanchez is coming to town."
I recognize that name, but I will not show it because I'm already outside. I walked past him.
Can I make a check on the like?
Who is she?
I don't know, could I, like a
Well, Sarge just
Would
gonna
I
ask Jill.
tell
Who is she?
like trying to determine is that like I feel like I recognize that name somewhere, but I can't remember. So
Do I have
We'll
permission
get
to tell
back
them
to that.
afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back.
You'd have to ask them if you don't remember. But he says,
no, like could I make like a name, like a language check or something to be like
trying to
Gnomish or Elvish or like
make a. That'd probably be a history check.
history. Okay.
But yeah, he says it's of no concern, and I'm sure he'd be happy to see you again, Westora.
I'm drawing
Would you care to
a
come
blank
to
here.
dinner?
Tonight?
Indeed.
Ross, is this somebody I've met before?
Not that you can recall. You remember the
Okay.
name, but
All right, just checking to see if David's memory was not in line.
they were
I'm trying to
involved
remember.
in. Supposedly, one of the people involved in the ritual.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
Exactly.
that, yeah.
I just trying to think why I know.
I know, and like,
Jill.
yeah, I'm hoping, yeah.
Let's
Split the party.
What was your history check, Addis?
22.
It is Uldan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's one of the 5 people involved in the ritual. So
5 that you know. There
There
were
were-
7 in the ritual.
Well, we were specifically trying to find one of those people to talk to, right?
Well, very well, Jill. I think that'd be a great use of my time. I'm sure the rest can manage without me tonight.
I'll send a coach to pick you up this evening.
okay.
We just talked about not splitting. Come on.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't
This
know.
is clearly a major NPC.
Hear me out.
Could
Hear me out.
it could be a lot of information. We can't just
That's
ignore
fair.
them.
That's fair. That's fair. Should we split evenly again?
I'm gonna.
I could go with Magnar and. Oh no, wait, but
I am not going to meet with fucking Jill DeRay for dinner. Like,
Yeah.
I Not unless
he
it's
walks out.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hadrian, you walked out, so you don't know what's going on. But he
No,
walks out.
I heard him say the name, and then I left. Like I was leaving as he said the name, and I'm just walking towards the mute mimic. Like,
So you're heading out. The rest of you, as Jill leaves,
I'll wait for them. I thought we were all walking out together, and then now we have another party split. So I'm just gonna sit and just wait. And
What time of day is it?
at this point, it's late afternoon. It's the summer, so the sun isn't setting yet. But it's probably around 5 o'clock.
Frosty, would it be possible, from a timing perspective, to do the dinner as a group and then go to the mute mimic?
Probably.
Why don't we do that? Because I think
I mean, you don't know when
Metagame
you're
for a moment.
supposed to. From a meta standpoint, they didn't say when to meet them at the
Right.
mimic.
And from a meta standpoint, I don't think we really want to split the party again as a group.
How
Like as
lively is this
players. I don't
night?
think we need to.
How late do people?
they
But
they
the
said to
problem
me,
is Westora was invited.
yeah, we were not invited. Like
Yeah.
we can't all go. That's the thing. And also, he would not have invited Hadrian, and Hadrian would not go at that. Like he,
Okay.
like
I'm sorry, I was just trying to.
no, I
My
know,
mind
I know,
already
I
split.
get it. I get it.
Well, at least we can talk to each other. So if you're in trouble, give us a shout.
All right, very well.
Do you want me to try and sneak along in with you? I mean, I told him the thing by accident. Sorry about that. So,
I don't know if that would work.
the worst that happens is I just end up getting kicked out, and I have to go follow them to the mute bird a little bit later, right?
If you just showed up and as another guest, I don't know.
But like, and he like does the, like a little swish and turns into like a long tailed like
If-
tuxedo. You
if
know?
Jill invited only me, maybe there's a reason for that. So let's not do that. But
Okay.
I'll try to make it as short a visit as I possibly can.
If it turns out to be a whole group of them from all around parts of the world and they start chanting, run.
That is very good advice. Thank you.
By the way, we are Hadrian. We are going to meet with a bunch of thieves and such. We should probably like not bring
Leave the coin purses in here. That's a good idea.
Well, that's
Lock
probably-
them away. I'm gonna take 30 gold with me because I need to be able to buy things. But
That sounds quite sensible. I think I'll go and put some down in my workshop. The rest of it.
Yeah, Addis is gonna put his like, yeah, gonna put most of the valuables and things in
Okay.
away.
Westora's going to go take a bath before dinner.
All right. You have a wonderful, nice, refreshing bath.
I need to relax as
Warm,
best
too.
I can.
Frosty,
Yes.
are there any like other like I know we have like a chess piece set. Are there any other like board games, for example, like maybe one that involves I don't know buying houses and fake money?
Monopoly.
You do not see Castleopoly.
Okay. Could I try and find anything that would pass for like fake currency?
Make an investigation at disadvantage.
Okay. That's a 19.
You do find a small stack of mostly worn, half of them are destroyed, multicolored. There's red, blue, and green wooden chips. They're about the size of a coin, painted in a stripy pattern and look kind of coinish.
Magnar, you don't happen to have any like tracking spells or anything, do you?
Tracking spells? Not as such, no, although I did have an idea for something that might work as a tracking device, but it wouldn't be small and it wouldn't be subtle and it might kill us.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really interesting tracking device.
Yes.
Hear me out. If we're ever separated, you should tie that to my hand, and then I can fly back to you. You know.
I don't think it's going to fly back to you, but we might be able to get the other half of the bottle to the point to the part of the bottle that you've got on you.
Oh, that's fair. Anyway, my thought was that like if they try and steal my coin purse, which I'm filling with brightly colored wooden pieces, if we could like put a tracking thing on the pieces, maybe we could keep track of them if they try and go and steal the. Museum.
Well, tell you what. Let me have a look at one of those. That's
They're small little
Then-
coin-shaped discs, little wafers.
find something unique in the house. Something reasonably rare. Doesn't have to be worth much, but something unique and rare.
What do that? Do I have the chess pieces? Do those count?
No, there's too many of those around the town.
Silver pine cone.
Silver,
The-
that's actually worth quite a bit.
Tell
Don't want to
him.
lose that.
Yeah, I don't want to. Don't let me get rid of my silver pine cone.
Didn't you give the
I
silver
will-
pine cone to someone?
I think I discussed giving it to someone, but I don't think I did.
I think he still has it. Yeah.
I think I was going to trade it with Hat Boy,
Harkle.
guy, Harkle. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, let me have a
But
look in me.
I didn't. The deal didn't end up going through because I think I missed the next session.
Let me have a look in me. What have I got in my inventory here?
I have a doll.
If any of our viewers in chat remember, let us know what happened to the silver pine cone.
You've got what? A doll with skewers.
Skewered with needles, and I have also on a doll house. I have all sorts of weird things from the bird.
Right. Something like that. Something like that. When I try to do a locate on it, I'm not going to get
Yeah,
like things all over the place.
That's right. You gave it to the library lady for your library card, and she got killed.
did I? Oh, did I lose?
No,
that
you
off?
gave it. You gave it to the kinku. You gave it to the kinku who stole all the shit.
You're right, but this is
Yeah.
when I stole it. I stole it back.
He
because
stole
I
the bag
stole
back.
the
Yeah, he
thing.
took the bag back.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So what do you say? Something like some kind of doll with skewers in it.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I got that off the bird as well. Yeah.
Right. Well, hopefully there's not too many people sticking pins in dolls around here. Pop
You'd be
that.
surprised.
Pop that in the bottom of your coin purse.
Okay. He's gonna adjust it a little bit so it looks vaguely like Hadrian, and then put it in the bottom.
Hadrian, make a Constitution save.
No.
I knew that was coming.
This is just the problem child. This episode.
16. Come on.
You start to choke and cough and have a hard time breathing, but you're just like you've got a bag over your head.
I'm just nervous about this date, guys. I'm just nervous. It's been a while. Come on.
Addis is like shaking the bag.
You're starting to feel really dizzy and nauseous.
Okay, guys, come on. I need some wing people to help me out here. Come on, and do not make a joke about my wing, okay? It is. I know it's black and inky. It's fine. We should go.
Okay, yeah. I will. Yeah, Addis is like puts all this into a convenient looking coin.
Oh my God.
Shakes it a couple more times.
If Trigani Guahani, this weird serial killer gnome, gets a hold of that doll, I will hate you forever.
Thanks for giving me.
I make no promises, and I take no. What's the word? I forgot.
Responsibility.
That's the word. I forgot it.
All right.
Because you don't take it, yeah.
So you guys are going to go look for the mimic while Westora gets ready for dinner. So Westora, we're going to jump to you first.
All right.
As you wait for the carriage, very fancy carriage, led by what looks to be sort of a spectral horse, sort of ethereal, glowing through. You're not entirely. It might be a familiar of some kind. You can make an Arcana check if you would like to recognize the spell. Led by a rather well-dressed gentleman with tailcoat, sort of typical carriage driver. Younger. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 19.
Phantom Steed.
All right.
It is a conjured steed.
Was Sora using her new fancy magical changing of the outfit thing? Is wearing this very sort of very elegant dress with of sort of a pale blue with accents of white and little shades of a darker blue to sort of match her sort of wintry appearance.
Okay. You get into the carriage, and the driver just gives a nod and whips the cord and starts to head out, and you're taken through the city till you get this large, very opulent manor. See different spirals rising up. Very unusual. It definitely has a magical feel to it. Large plants around. There's glowing flames and electrical currents kind of crackling from spot to spot. As you're led out to the carriage, a gentleman, well-dressed elf kind of walks up and was like, Master Prismari is expecting you. Him and his guests are in the dining hall. Please come with me.
Very well, thank you.
He kind of leads you in. I'm glad that you chose to arrive in appearance. The master is very particular about his dinner guests. As I understand it, you're a representative of the Fey Court. How are you to be announced?
Courtier Restora Fristo.
He kind of gives a bow. He walks in, leads you through the large marble-halled chamber of the center place, up the flight of stairs around into this long dining hall.
Of the Fall Court. Sure.
Lady Westora Freshno of the Fall Fey Court, arriving as expected. Your seat, madame. Sits you in the center. And as you look, you can see Gilles kind of sitting there, leaning a goblet of wine held in his hand on one end of the table. And at first, the table seems impossibly long until as you get closer, it seems to compress and distort to just the perfect size for a quaint dinner with the three of you. On the opposite side of Gilles, see a tall, lanky gentleman. He has a crimson cape flowing out of these large, pointed shoulder pads that have sort of three tiers. They're crimson with gold trim and buckle up into this very foreign tunic. He has a head wrap around of black and tan with a large red gem set in the center. He has tan skin and angular features with a long black goatee coming off of his chin. He holds a serpent-shaped staff with a large snake coiling around it that rests in his hand. He has loose, very baggy pants that seem worn but very well kept. They're also black, along with the black and crimson of his tunic. He has black shoes with a little gold trim on it. So, you're the representative of Zumira, and you've arrived. Glad that you're finally getting involved with all of these things, finally seeing how it's time for the world to change.
I am learning everything I can about it.
And what does your patron think of all of this now that everything has gone wrong?
I don't know. I haven't spoken to her.
She must be very disappointed in you. As a little snake curls up his arm and he gives it just a little bit of meat, moving back within the cloak.
I would not know, but if she is displeased with me, she has not told me so.
Yes, this Gertrude is actually helping us solve our little problem. While the others have been unable to be reached, Westora here has been more than helpful in tracking down Godric. I think that all three of us can work together on this issue. You see, this world needs saving, and we can't just let this entity and creature have its way with it. Restorer, are you even aware of what this thing is anymore?
Vaguely. There has
Enlighten
been,
me.
well, my limited understanding is that something went horribly wrong, and something that should not have been brought into this world came. And Godric is manifesting, connected to a piece of this ancient, primordial, godlike being. And it certainly was not the being that was intended to be summoned.
Oh no, it was the entity that we wanted to summon, just not in the form that it took. You see, do you know how the gods got their power?
They took it.
Yes, they stole it from the primordials, slaughtering the creatures that ran around. Can you imagine how that must feel to those that survived?
I think my associate Hadrian would be the better person to ask.
Yes, he did help us find one of the surviving entities. He said that there were two. Do you have any idea what the second one might be?
You mean entities beyond?
Beyond the gods, yes.
Well, there's a darker entity. And then I believe there's one of madness.
They call her the Mother. Yes. She whispers insidious thoughts into the minds of those who dare dream and wander too far from what they're supposed to know. Spirit of curiosity. Far too dangerous to be brought in, but this dark one, it's just anger. It lurks in everybody. It would give power over everyone. A way to shape and commune with the world if we were to break it up into lesser fragments and contain its power. We would have a greater influence over the world. If the gods did it, then surely it's just and right to do so. Wouldn't you agree?
I think justice is really not the issue here.
And what do you think the issue is? What are your plans for Godric, and why are you so interested in him?
Well, I think the issue for you is power, which has very little to do with justice. As for my plans, I merely seek to undo the damage that I helped bring about.
Precisely. I think that's what we're all trying to do. Ali here just wants to help spare the nation of Uldad. Do you understand the horrible travesties that take place down there? Horrible tyrants that hoard off the supplies of water and food. Harsh deserts that slaughter, and horrifying creatures that wander cursed with undead, much like Wallachia.
I have never traveled there, and I've heard little.
Well,
But if I may ask, why do you think you still need me?
it seems Godric is rather interested in the fated.
Yes, you say that, but do you know why?
Well, if he's attempting to destroy the world and take on the gods, and wants to unleash his anger and wrath upon the world, he wants those that the gods won't be able to interfere with. I think he wants to use you just as much as, well, anybody else. I'm just looking for an alliance. You see, I want to stop Godric. Your party, your friends, they all question and doubt me. But me and Ali here, we're just trying to do something right for this world. Make a difference for it.
I believe most people at least my associates, may not agree with your idea of right or wrong. It's easy to say you oppose Godric, but what happens afterwards? I believe is the point of dispute.
Afterwards, the powers divvied up, no one person having too much of it.
But
At least-
divvy up among who?
Well,
Yourself?
the others have not been so inclined as to continue our efforts, so for now it would be between me and Gilles, perhaps yourself, or your queen. We know that she is still hunting Godric. I'm sure she has intentions for his power as well.
I have not reached out to her. Would
Perhaps
you like me to?
should. Indeed. If you could. She's been unresponsive to our requests as well. I hope nothing bad happened to her.
Well, I must say, in the chaos that ensued after what had happened before, I have lost a means of communicating with her.
Such a shame. You know, there are other patrons who could bestow gifts upon you.
I think for now, I will stick.
Yes, allow her to retain. We should still maintain a healthy connection with our Fey comrades.
I have always been one to have served the Fae in the past. My role in court, I have no real desire to change that.
And quite a good and noble courtier you are, serving your queen with distinction.
I do my best. I can only hope that she sees it the same way.
Well, if she doesn't, you always have lion allies here in Ameris.
You are too kind.
I do think that we might get along. You see, the three of us all want to stop Godric. We all want to do what's right for this world and keep people from suffering, and want to watch out for those that we care about and serve our graters. We are working on a way to stop Godric for good. We can't have him slain. We need him weakened just enough so that we might imprison him and take him into a particular holding cell that we're having prepared. I'm curious. Yes. You see, our understanding, as I've struck several death blows against him, is that he cannot be killed. So, we've been preparing an extra-dimensional space to imprison him in. I'd like to know, would you help us in trapping him there during this party?
Well, certainly, if that would stop Godric, it would be something worth considering for sure.
We'd take him off the field for good. He'd know we wouldn't have to worry about him reincarnating or reappearing anywhere, nor unleashing his terribleness. That particular plague of his. He's trying to convince the people that he's helping them. But he's just deceiving them, filling them with lies.
I certainly do believe that Godric and his plans are not going to be helpful to anybody in this world.
And let us try to subdue him during this party, rather than slay him.
And do you think it'd be as simple as to attack him to subdue him? Would it require some other
No, it seems
strategy?
the more we attack him, the more I haunt him, the stronger he got. And when I struck a fatal blow, it unleashed a terribleness, just like the infection. A fragment of the being's power. No, I think we have to try and find a way to chain him, trap him, paralyze him.
And do you know of a method to do that?
I am aware of someone who does. One of our fellow comrades, Silco, has in possession of a unique First Age artifact, a rather unique set of bindings. The Iron Bands of Bolero. If we could find a way to commune with him, he might be willing to offer them to us. He is in need of desperate help in his strife against the Valachian nobility, and of course they're no friends of ours.
Do you wish to have myself and my companions approach this person?
We do have reason to believe he has contacts in the city's underground. If you were able to make contact with him and acquire them... It would go a long way towards helping us accomplish our goals.
Well, I can
That
tell you
sounds
that
like a fascinating idea.
I do have a strong interest in speaking with him for sure.
Splendid. Dessert. As the servant comes right, you guys have been eating throughout this dinner, having this conversation.
I was about to say, dessert already?
But it would be a short dinner. And they'd a very nice kind of conversation. They do seem to pry into you. Make an insight check.
Yes, I've been trying very hard to be very non-committal. I don't notice anything. I rolled a 1.
Unfortunately, they seem as open and planning exactly what they said. And it's kind of... You're a little surprised to find Gilles talking about, like, helping people.
Yeah,
Stopping this plague.
Maybe it was Sora rolled a 1 to like really notice anything particular, but I think we all know Jill well enough that she would not trust this from him.
Definitely, you're not. I'm not saying you're trusting him. It's. But the thing is, there's a sincerity to it that you did not expect. And as best you can tell, in Gilles, he really is trying to stop Godric.
Oh, I believe he's trying to stop Godric.
And there is a concern for the people that what you're able to kind of glean is Gilles loves Ameris. And you get the impression that Ali loves the lands that were once known as Ul'dah. Particularly from a place called Dalamaskar. And you do get the impression that they consider these places to be tyrannical and want to change them. And love the people. What that means to them, you don't know, but and the lands of Dalamaskar sound terrifying, horrible. Like wherever Ali is from, like hordes of undead constantly, evil tyrant serpent that turns people into stone, assassinations in the streets, horrifying kind of place. You can definitely sympathize. He's the harder one to get a read on, and he really seems to want to make a difference in those lands. But what you do know is right here, if anyone knew that Gilles had a guest from Ul'dah, from the lands that were known as Ul'dah, from the Fallen Kingdoms, that right there is considered like a war crime by like a national everybody, because after Alduin returned, it became and did his conquering. Part of the peace treaty between all of the nations was that no one was allowed to travel to the lands of Ul'dah because it was too dangerous. That they quarantined it, and the lands of Xenos and the Holy Knights of Cutania like religiously hunt down people who violate that to try and keep the world safe.
Well, with Sora, like I said, I've been trying to remain non-committal, and part of that for me is I've been being very polite, very. I never tell them if I disagree with them, even if I do disagree with them. And I always try to like, oh yes, we want you to go and speak to this guy and get this item. Oh, I'm very interested to speak with them.
Yeah.
Trying not to commit to anything.
And you get the impression that they you don't feel like they've noticed per se, but you do get the impression that they also are not really giving too much away, and they don't feel very threatened by you. But make another insight check.
All right. Maybe I'll get luckier. 18. Oh yeah, much better.
18. What you are able to glean is Gilles is slightly afraid of Ali. Not entirely sure why, but there is. I'm afraid might not be the right word. There's definitely contention between them. They are not exactly in sync. The best word I could use for it is almost desperate allies. And you get the impression that no one involved in this particular ritual was very fond of each other, but it was sort of like everyone had a little bit that someone needed.
One thing I think perhaps as we're going over dessert with Sora would like to say though is, we were discussing talking to my patron, and I did say I had lost communication with her. Do you think you could help me reestablish communication?
Certainly. There are ways to commune with some of the Fae. There are even ley lines actually not far from Versailles where one could walk into the Feywild and be able to commune. There are a few rituals that one can do as well. If you even have a token of hers, it'd be possible to teleport you to her presence. Depends on how you'd like to get in contact with her.
I would like to meet her. And I do have something that she gave me.
Let us see how things go at the masquerade.
Very well.
And you guys finish up dinner and they bid you farewell. Ali vanishes in a puff of black smoke. Gilles has his men escort you out.
Alright.
You turn.
Back to the house. I will transform my clothes more into my regular, more casual, but nice clothes. And then go and try to join the others at
Alright.
the muted mimic.
Alright. So we're going to pick up with the rest of you. As you guys are searching for the mute mimic, heading towards the part of town where they said it was. You do eventually find it. Let me put you guys on the map.
Before we enter, and Addis is going to transform his outfit to the full like penguin tuxedo.
Yeah.
Little black bow tie. He's gonna slick his hair back a little bit, get a little monocle.
Oh no! So Hadrian is going to transform his to be like, again, it's a similar outfit. It's just a little more formal and a little tighter. He's really sort of putting on a show here.
And you can sort of see the bulge of the coin purse at his side.
Frosty, I cannot see this map. It's all black and white. There we go. Now I can see.
All right. So,
is Trigani not here? I can't see her anywhere. I did promise to meet her for a drink, so.
You do not see her.
Harkle in the corner?
As you guys walk in, you see a large rectangular room. There's a large fireplace behind the bar, sort of burning, and it looks like you can see something behind the fireplace, but it's hard to make out. See several tieflings sitting around. Addis, you recognize the small cloaked figure that bumped into you and told you to check out this place for the swords. And you guys have been here for the swords, but he's sitting there kind of talking. You actually can see he's got little green hands as he's swaying back and forth, talking to a well-dressed gentleman. And he's like, yeah, I'm telling you, man, there's this great little boat, a small little island off of Jeru, a total country home. You know, you just put down a little bit of an investment, and it's totally yours. It's a timeshare sort of thing. And talking to him about that, there's a wild hair, the same person that sold you guys the swords, the sort of gown, barkeeper's shawl on, leather, a couple people drinking. There's some tieflings, because one of them just gives you an eye as he's kind of winding up and doing some maintenance on a crossbow of his. You spot Harkle playing cards with two gnomes that Magnar and Hadrian you recognize, as well as a red panda lion sitting in the chair holding cards in his paws, kind of ears twitching and looking. And as you guys walk in, the woman behind the bar says, "Right, have a seat or order your drinks. Now, if you're after more weapons, I sold them all."
I'll just wave to her and say, "Listen, I promised I'd meet somebody here, small gnomish person, red hair, auburn. Have you seen her around? That's her panda."
Yeah, I've seen the panda. Now, about who you're looking for, now, I don't go around blabbing about patrons. So let me ask, are you here for the game?
Yes.
Yes,
I-
yes, I am.
We are. Pish posh.
What?
I just say yes, I am.
All right, 50 gold buy-in, I'll let you back.
I put 50 gold down.
Hey, Druid, can I
You
put
only
50
took
gold
30.
as well?
You said you
Magnar.
put all but 30 back in the house.
I did the same. Look, I tell you what, I'm just here to spectate. If
All right. Yeah, we can. I'll put 30 if you'll give me 20.
right, there you go. Look after it.
Can we do a group discount?
Can we do a group discount?
No, you want in the game, you gotta pay 50 gold.
I'll put down the 50 that Magna helped me to get.
All right, that's one of you back there. Snaps her fingers and Hadrian disappears.
What?
And there's a gout of flame. Hadrian, you find yourself in a large casino. You can see girls and guys in like skimpy clothing and bunny outfits, bare just halters on with little like white cuffs, walking around carrying drinks. There's a group of people around a table, and you see someone throw a marble and spin a dais around. And you can hear it click 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 click.
Okay.
There's a couple of people standing around playing a game with dice. There's two people at the table. There's four people at one table. A little small gnome with white hair and a garden at night, and he says, "All right, I tell the boss that I'm sick." And the guy says, "All right, make a persuasion check."
Fuck, houses and humans. Oh, what a terrible game.
And then you see one of them comes over and says, "You're here for the card game?" A small little buddy girl sort of wanders over. Would you like a drink? Card game's right over there. The big guy, little one, and you see Cha-Cha Chetney sitting at the table.
Where? So again, I'm looking for Trigani and Cha-Cha Chetney. I know they were both supposed to be here, so
Chetney's sitting at the table over there playing cards. Trigani's getting changed for her performance.
is the performance in here?
Yeah.
That's terrifying and awesome. Where I don't see Chetney anywhere. Frosty, I'm sorry.
Sorry, his token got erased, but he's over here at this table.
Alright.
You can see a large half-dragon humanoid kind of dealing cards, and a familiar face kind of in just a casual shirt and tight pants kind of looks over and is like, "Good to see you. You ready for a challenging game of cards? Always nice to meet a new person daring to take on their fellows in exciting challenge."
I blink at him and just, all right, it's fucking on. And I sit down next to him. Again, still waiting for Dragani's performance, but also because, God, what is she gonna do? That's terrifying. I'm scared now, but I'm gonna sit down at the table and just, all right, what card game are we playing? There's many, so
They are playing Dragon's Gotham.
okay, gotcha.
That's Texas
So
Hold'em.
deal me. I got that. Who has the first in? Who flushed the horde for the first part?
That would actually be you.
So
You're kicking down
gold.
the door.
I'll put in 5 gold to kick down the door.
All right. So while you're doing that, Addis, what are you doing? And Magnar, what are you doing?
Alice is gonna look over at Magnar and be like, "What a shame we can't seem to get in, dear fellow. What if I don't want to spend any of my precious gold here? Maybe we could make some if you fought one of these fine gentlemen for me."
I don't think that's going to work. I was rather hoping that.
Who wants to fight my fellow here? We'll put 30 gold on the table if you can beat him.
What on earth?
The tiny, long, white-haired gnome with sort of goggle-like glasses and a long red coat that you recognize from the wanted poster that was Thor described walks over and is like, "Yeah, I'll kick his ass for 30 gold."
He's incredibly racist towards gnomes, so go at him.
Let me see the
It's towards gnomes. Do you think I'd be in this bar?
Let me
He
see
said
the
when
money.
we came
Money
in-
on the table.
Put the money on the table.
Frosty. Sorry. Okay, never mind. I'll ask what you back. I'm terrified right now.
You're not the only one.
But what are you guys doing as he's waiting for you to put the money down? You guys are arguing with him.
Come, manservant, put the money down.
Trigon
Wanted to go
comes out onto a small stage and
and
lights
watch them
dim
play
in the back.
cards.
And
Where?
I can't
Is
think
it-
of the
it's-
song, but starts singing one of those blue jazzy songs like "You never knew how much you loved me.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
never knew how much you care."
Where? Yeah. So the stage isn't on the.
dress.
The stage is not on this map, but
It's not.
I
But
see it. Yeah, I look at her and like give her a salute, and I mouth the words to the song because I obviously know it, and I'm assuming I do not need to make a check to flirt with her because.
No. A couple of people are whistling, and some people get mad. She kind of walks over and pulls on your shirt a little bit, and she's kind of doing the lounge singer motif, moving around.
I'll give her my coat if she pulls it that far. I'll hand it to her. It's
And she
part
kind
of a
of
glamour.
wraps it up like a cape as she's singing, kind of does the sultry dance, kind of moving it, then spinning around.
Sorry, I completely lost track of what we're playing in this game. Who put that in the last cards?
Make a wisdom check, unless you are proficient with cards or gambler's tools.
I am.
You are. All right, make a gambling tools check or cards check.
What skill should I use for it?
Wisdom.
So that okay. So the funny thing is, it's the same fucking check. Like wisdom save and a cards check is the same check for me. Then.
I said a wisdom check.
Your
not save.
proficiency.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just
gain
roll.
proficiency if you.
All right. Yeah. I'll roll a wisdom save. But yes. 19. I'm gonna add a hero point just because. Okay, so a 20.
So you're doing pretty good. The guy in a fur, like with a faux fur collar and a long brown jacket, kind of adventurous type. You take him out of the bidding, but there's still 3 of you. You actually recognize Antoine as he says, "Ah, will you meet again, Monsieur?"
I look at him and just say,
You come in here with just as much confidence as you did assisting. Should I tell them all about how you ran away like such a little yellow coward?
should I tell them all about how you tried to get me to take a fight that would have killed all of your men, despite the fact that you knew we were there trying to negotiate for your safety while you hid behind me and used magic to compel me to stab a sword into somebody I was trying to negotiate with, and then sort of cried and ran away afterwards?
As you're arguing that, he is going to cast command
What an asshole!
and tell you to fold.
Oh shit!
Can I get advantage because I hate him so much
No,
at this
no.
point in time?
All right. Will you make a wisdom saving throw?
I will use my inspiration on this one, actually.
I believe you already.
Fuck! Hero point then. Fuck!
So you fold.
Why?
By 1 point, he gets you to fold.
Wait, can I use resistance on this? I still have that no, it's a reaction. Fuck! Frosty, I hate him so much. Can I
What you do is he commands you to fold, and you fold and lose.
No. You know what? No. He just says fold. I just fold my body in half and keep my cards on the table. He was not specific, and command does not give automatic interpretation. So I will fold my body down.
I believe it does.
No, it does not. It does not. You give a word, it's up to the GM, but again, it's just like when he said attack and I stabbed myself. If he says fold, I will fold my body. Because
the DM determines how the target behaves.
Hadrian is the most recalcitrant person in the entire world. If there is even a tiny loophole, he would do it. So
there is not. Command is very.
Frosty.
As long as you understand what they are saying, you do what they are saying. So he convinces you to fold the hand.
Fine, but I'm still in the game, so I don't give a shit. So
yes, you do lose a decent portion in that.
Fine,
hand.
I will. You know what? I'm going to use command on him next turn to tell him to fold. Actually, wait. What are my cards next turn? Are they good?
Roll a D100.
$11.
They are shit.
I will fold automatically. I won't, but I will wait till the next turn. Again, I want to see if I get a good hand.
All right. So as the rounds go on, while you're doing that, Addison and Magnar, he's like, come on, put the gold down and I'll kick his ass.
99.
Put the gold down.
I don't see what this is going to happen. What does this?
He sits down. He's like, I've got my 30 gold. You kick my ass.
What does he look like? What's he wearing?
Okay, if he says that, I punch him in the face.
What?
He's wearing a reddish black trench coat with little gold plates, has a great sword on his back, has these glasses, goggles like things, white hair.
He put down 30 gold and he said if you beat me, you can take it. So Addis punches him in the.
All right, I need Addis to roll initiative.
Oh.
And Frosty, for reference, with that 99 on that hand, I'm gonna do something. Just so you know.
We'll get to that.
I'm going to use inspiration to reroll that initiative, Frosty. God damn! I rolled the same thing twice. Can you use hero points on initiative?
You can.
I'm gonna use.
Just do it. Just do it. You gotta keep that money, man.
No matter what, I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay. That's a 19.
Okay. So you are up first. Magnar, will you roll your initiative in case you decide to help?
Yes. Okay. 11.
All right, Addis, you're up first.
Okay. So as Addis is in full butler uniform, as soon as he sets the gold down on the counter and says, "If you beat me, you can take it," Addis turns, and as his fist swings through the air, it ignites with flame as he's going to just punch him in the face.
All right.
So
I will bonus action to strike with the fire giants. As I then attempt to, I will reckless and punch him in the face.
All right. Roll your hit.
So unarmed strike with advantage. Oh my god, it's so bad. Ah.
All right. So you
Why
punch
do
him.
we have 5? Is your strength not 18?
It's 16, but you're right. It's still, is it?
3.
No, yeah,
That's right. 3 plus proficiency bonus.
that is right.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you swing,
right.
and you actually manage to connect, and he goes, kind of tilts his head, and he's like, now you're kind of strong. Yeah, let's have some fun. Kavan sees the fight breaking out.
I need to get my strength score up.
Uses that as a as Grace is like, my word. Kind of looks over, surprised, he yoinks the coin purse from the guy. Kupo Kopo kind of looks over, sees the fight breaking out. Jajajimi Lomimi, who's the guy you're fighting, is going to rage.
Oh shit. Oh no.
For his bonus action, and reckless attack you with his greatsword.
Okay.
Well, that escalated quickly.
That will just hit.
All right, and this is non-lethal. He's just beating you with his big sword.
Yeah.
Which is actually about as tall as him, so to you, it's like your arm length.
As the attack hits, I am going to use my reaction to Stone's Endurance. And only take I take 1 damage as the sword smashes into his arm, and it like there's this horrible grinding sound as it just grinds against the thing. Yeah.
That's his turn. Magnar?
I'm keeping a close eye on everyone else to see if they're just watching or about to join the fray. Other than that,
Make an insight.
okay. $19.
All right. So it's about to be a barroom blitz. You can see like the 2 friends from the 2 other gnomes that were part of the gang see the fight going down. They're already grabbing bottles to smash stuff. Hartle's kind of sliding back. Kavan's trying to steal the goblin, and you're like, wait, a goblin? It's trying to steal everything it can. The bearded guy sitting next to the woman is turning and about to fight. The other guy is pulling out a dagger, ready to kind of defend himself. All hell is about to break loose.
I'm not starting this fight, but
This could be your chance to searing smite somebody. I'm
There you
just
go.
saying, you know.
And I just took the calm emotion spell.
guys, I'm sorry. I just want to command Antoine to do something stupid. That's like.
yeah, we'll get. Hang on.
And then I want to punch him.
He started it.
He did. We all did.
So Magnar, what are you doing?
I am casting Bless on me and Addis.
All right.
And as a... No, that's it.
Asafu runs over 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 as he jumps up, cartwheels over Jaja, lands, pulling out a bottle like a thing of mead, breathes it, and he's like, "Hands off my friend!" and breathes fire at you, Addis. I need
Okay,
a dexterity saving
dexterity.
throw.
At
Make sure you've got-
advantage from danger sense.
Yeah.
And you've got
And
bless.
blood bless. Yep.
All right.
19.
I take half it.
Yep.
Oh, yikes.
So 4 points of damage.
Okay.
All right. Is going to run up and try and steal from the other thief, using the fight as a distraction.
Opportunity.
Doesn't. The goblin pushes him back and they get into a fight. Kupo Kopo, just that the red panda line just seems to be watching. Addis, what are you doing?
On his turn, he is going to rage. Once again, he like straightens the monocle slightly, pats a little bit of the singed bits off, and you just see the blue veins starting to creep up. You know, I have no idea if I can choose to set things. Let me check. Do I choose to do this, or does it just happen? Oh, it just says it happens. So the fire just bursts outwards. I don't.
So that hits Magnar, the woman.
Yeah. It's 10 feet, but not through cover. So anyone who's behind
So that
cover
would be
okay.
Magnar and the woman.
Let me pop up the. I believe it is 10 feet. I believe. So that is the little
Yeah.
And then it's only 2. It's for 2 fire, I think.
All right.
This is going to step forwards to there.
The woman faints and screams as she's on like freaking out and is bloodied.
Do I get any kind of save, or I just take 2?
You just take 2.
It's just 2. It's a flat 2 fire. And then he's like, "You fuckers are pulling out weapons." So, and he's going to draw his glaive, which is probably like 3 times the height of these guys.
Yeah.
And then I believe you said that this fellow here, he already reckless. So I'm just going to attack him, and it'll be an advantage.
All right.
So this will be a glaive with advantage for a 19 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay, and this will have my fire strike damage added because this is I missed my last time.
Yep.
So it's the next hit. So that will be absolutely terrible damage.
5
2
damage.
fire. Yeah. And I believe that is my turn.
All right. Kavan grabs a bottle and tries to smash it over.
Sorry. That you should increase that by 1 because I forgot rage damage.
All right. Just clogs Donawano with a bottle, breaks over his head. Donawano collapses unconscious. And then he runs out. Zhao Zhao's turn. He's going to hit Asafu and say, "Hey, this is a fair fight. Get out." Kicks his friend in the head, who stumbles back, smashes into a table. Glasses go flying across to other people in the head, and the whole bar erupts into a fight. Hadrian, make a perception check.
Magnar, this is even better than
if this is about the fight, I don't care, but I will make the check. That's a 7, so no.
No, you don't notice.
Again, so with the 99 I rolled, I will use command on Antoine and tell him to go all in when I get that good hand. So
all in is 2 words. You get one word.
Oh, command is so tricky.
I'm trying to think of what the word would be for that.
Kupo Kopo and Harkle go back to playing cards. They seem to be playing a game where they guess what's in the other person's hand, and if they don't have it, they have to. Pay
All right, I don't know. I'm like
Fine, go first.
I can't think of a word that's what's a synonym for all in.
Yeah, that's why command is so tricky.
Yeah. All right.
Oh. All right. I mean, how do you want to do the rest of the card game? I'm happy to role play it. It doesn't seem like that's the vibe, but
Well, I've got to take care of the fight because that's going to happen in less time than a hand of cards.
Go ahead. I will say after the card game, however it ends, I will buy Dragani a drink and offer to do a duet with her because that's all I can do. So
the terrified young old money person who has been led here by everything is going to try and stealth his way out. Does a pretty good job. Whoa, kind of dodging out. Magnar, your turn.
Who's actively fighting at this point?
Everyone in this sort of at the bar area. Dadawado's
Except for her, I think.
She's screaming and trying to put out the fire.
Yeah.
Thaumaturgy, incredibly loud, booming voice. This is a gentleman's duel. Stand back and let them fight fair. And it just echoes through the room.
Make a persuasion check at advantage.
Oh, charisma. 6.
At advantage.
Oh,
At advantage.
Hang on.
Come on. I believe.
7.
All right. So as you do that, make a dex save.
Oh God! All right. 15, 16, 17, 18.
Food, bottles, everything gets thrown at you. And you go, I got a duck behind me. As everything kind of smashes and rains against the table. All right.
Yeah.
So they're doing that. I need not yellow port. No, right, I need everyone to make a wisdom save.
I'm assuming not me.
Nope.
or me.
I do need you and Antoine.
22.
16.
19 and 19.
Why do you have advantage on that?
I don't. I rolled a 19. What?
You
No,
rolled
you
in that
rolled
one.
that one.
I did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you rolled a 6.
Fine.
You rolled
I-
twice.
Yeah, I didn't see the first roll. Fine.
All
Anyway.
right. So Addis has a 16. Magnar, that. Anton rolled a nat 20. So Addis, Hadrian,
Oh boy.
and basically all of the patrons except Magnar and Antoine just appear in the streets.
Okay. Is Trigani at least there? Because
Yes.
otherwise, like, okay, then I'm gonna keep flirting with her and count this.
Magnar, you are
Like, so-
alone in a place that is filled with gold that has been set on the table.
Except for the bartender, who's like, all right, out. I'm closing down for the night. Too much fun.
Right. Well, I'll just take my steak back.
All right. Get on out.
Addis is still like wrestling with one of like the no.
As Wistor, you're walking up the street and just see
That's right.
Barvo just appear in the middle of the street.
I just look at Trigani and like, okay, so I was gonna offer you to do a duet together in there some other time, but walk with me. I like incline my head like
Of course.
away from.
Kind of grabs your hand. So, where are we going? You know, I know this wonderful little romantic little spot.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna go there. I'm sorry. Like, I get your vibe, and I'm into it, but also, you're gonna have to work a little harder than that if you want to murder me. So,
I don't want to murder you.
insight check.
Roll your insight.
27.
Even she doesn't know if that's true. You can hear the questioning.
I say, yeah. And while you figure that out, we can go somewhere that's a little less murdery, but nice still.
Well,
fun.
how about a nice walk around the city? And if we just so happen to pass by any nice alleys, then we'll think about it.
Sure.
All right. So you wander off with that. Addis, you're still like, you are like punching each other. It's a fairly fair fight between the two of you. You're each barely doing any damage to the other.
The barbarian fight. We're just throwing each other.
It's just
Story,
like
what you do is you see Magnar, everyone's scattering, and Magnar carrying some walking out of the bar.
I turn around and go home.
I will let Trigani keep my illusionary cloak, but coat, by the way. But at some point, I may tell her to like stop dragging it on the ground. It's expensive magic, so.
All right. So we will time skip to you guys eventually meeting back up. You will have gotten an extra 30 gold that you stole from.
Yep.
All yours, Magnar.
That was worth it. That was all worth it.
Did you guys all get back to the place?
Okay. While walking and fade to blacking with Trigani, could I have like tried to get some more information about what they're doing, like
Make an
casually?
insight.
She doesn't know, does she? That's a 21.
She does not.
Okay, well that's fine. I'll have a good time regardless.
That would be a 20.
I thought it was.
5
Yeah,
plus
you're right,
proficiency
sorry.
was 20.
Yep, you're correct. That's my bad.
No,
I have the +1 from insight because of my my tarot gave me that.
Need to roll from your sheet, please, just in the future. But yeah, so you guys get back to the house. Yeah, she is clueless. All she knows is they're supposed to take a shiny thing, and it seems like fun. You have a wonderful.
My kind of girl. I think Hadrian gets back like covered in bite marks, probably.
Yeah.
Addis also gets back covered in bite marks, but for a different.
Different kinds of bite marks.
Black-eyed. Because you guys pretty much beat the hell out of each other. both of you would have
Oh,
kept going
100%.
until you were standing there like, let's call it a draw.
Addis is still wearing the like butler outfit.
But it's
and
broken
covered,
monocle.
like, broken monocle, like half rib.
The monocle is just implanted into the gnome's head somewhere. It's like,
but yeah, you guys get back to the room and have a brief moment to catch up on anything that you learned, which is nothing for the most part.
yeah, I got kicked out before because Chetney. I thought he was part of the card game, and he wasn't even there. Apparently, like I'm so confused.
Unfortunately, the fight broke out before he had a chance to really talk to Chetney. He was there.
Okay, okay. I know we don't have cell phones in this world, but is there a way I can get in contact with Trigani to try and organize?
She says she'll see
Give
you
it-
around.
Great, that's terrifying, and also great, but terrifying.
But yeah, you guys are in the house. What do you do? Actually, I think I'll call it here for tonight, as you guys all return from the bar fight. So thank you everyone for tuning in and watching us. We will see you next week. Our wonderful player Evan is going through some stuff right now and will not be here this week, as you saw, or next week. So please, everyone, wish him well. Send your best wishes. We love you, Evan, and hope you're doing okay. Other than that, remember to like and follow, check out past episodes on YouTube, and we will see you next Thursday. All right. Say goodnight, Trigani.